Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. Totally botched it, screwed it up, it's over, it's done. Crap, screwed it up. Cut the music, trying to share a link, totally forgot to share links. It's fine, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Iron Age Nights. How is everybody doing? Oh, it's fantastic.
Doing great.
Fantastic. Good. Good. Oh, it's glad to see everybody here. I totally forgot to share the link on Gilded. Like the one place that I should.
Oh, well. Nobody's on there.
No, nobody's on Gilded. Nobody's on Gilded. Nobody cares about the poor old Gilded. Oh, how is everybody doing this evening?
Doing really well.
Good.
Having a nice, relaxing Friday evening.
See, I'm also doing this thing. Also doing this thing.
Daniel, you're muted still.
Yeah. Nope, it's fine. It's fine.
Nobody wants to hear me. We're here for...
Well, you were talking, though, so...
See?
I did it, too. It's all right. I'm saying hi.
I do it on my own stream, and I am so glad that I do, because there are times when I will, like, try to talk, and then I realize, oh, crap, maybe I shouldn't talk right here, and I'm muted, and I'm like, thank God. Oh, all right. Oh, man, it's going to be a good night. It's going to be, God, I look forward to Fridays every single week. I get to Thursdays, I'm like, oh, Thursdays are gay. Anyway. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to say hello to the chat before we get to my fantastic co-hosts and our esteemed guest this week. If you guys would do me a favor, hit the like button, please. My chat reminds me always to do the like button stuff. So, yes, the like button would be fantastic. Touch the butt, or the button as the butt. That's what we call the like button now. I love Finding Nemo. I love that movie. I don't care. It's a great movie. So... all right, we've got John A. Douglas down in the chat. Hello, good sir. James Esparza, it's fantastic to see you. Horizon Talker, what's going on? We've got Captain Bob, Asher Bruner, Swift, Sword Rush, Skunk's Workshop, Brian McCoppin. Hello, how are you? And we have Chris M. down there as well. Midnight, Mike Fluffy, the Spaceman, Oxen W, JVP, what up? Myriosphere Origins. Baropsis Press. Hello, Katie. How are you doing?
Hi, Katie.
Fantastic to see you down there. The Lord Otter. We've got Ronan the Crusader. Oh, good Lord. James Craig is down there. Whimsy. Dude, you're double dipping. You're double dipping on the chat. Raven Nevermore. Hello,
it's what
Sam.
we do now.
Huh?
I thought it's what we do now.
Well, you know.
You're still going to complain about it.
I'm still going to complain about it.
More engagement. Now you get twice as much of me. You didn't want one. Now you get two.
Oh, no. What have I done? Toxic Crusader comes in hot with $5. And Toxic Crusader says, ladies and gentlemen, knights of all ages, please welcome the Vice Brew Daddy Chief of the Boomer Sphere, Royce Cookery, a.k.a. A Drink with Daddy.
Things might be getting a little bit out of hand here.
I'm glad to see Brew Daddy.
I mean...
did you see Mike Miller's stream the other night?
No, I missed that one.
Oh my, that was one in a million.
Was that on Thursday night as well?
That was on Wednesday. Wednesday. Oh, good Lord. Anyway, oh my God, the Mike Miller stream was, I have some audio I'll play later. From that stream. Oh my God. He got one of his artist friends to read and he's got one of those like soft, like deep bass, like sultry voices. Oh, and my Gilded guys were in there. We were doing like a watch party in the voice chat. Oh my God, it was hilarious. Thank you so much, Toxic Crusader. That is fantastic. Oh crap, I forgot to do the thing for Toxic. There you go. I'm sorry, Toxic. I'm still learning. I'm still learning my Gary button. I still have to learn how to do the Gary button properly.
It's going to be total chaos whenever there's more than one soundboard option.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Actually, I have multiple soundboard options I have to add this week, so I just didn't do it because, yeah. Jolly Roger is also down in the chat. It's fantastic to see you, good sir. And JVP Music decided that he was going to come in hot with $50. JVP, how are you doing? He says, best stream on Fridays. Heroes Metal looks Heroes Metal looks like a banger. Great guest pick tonight. Love to Royce. No trolling, promise. Dan and Richard, keep rocking it. Yes, yes. Thank you so much, JVP. Yeah, that's awesome.
Not wrong. Heroes Metal's amazing. It's a great book.
I am so behind on everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't picked that up yet. I picked up Bloodbane, but then I didn't. I haven't read it yet. I feel bad, but it's
welcome to my world.
I know it's one of these things where it's like every month I hit the prompt voting time, and I'm like, oh, I got to read all these, drop everything, and finish finish these out, and then it takes me like a couple days to get back in the reading groove.
Oh yeah, so. No, I Saturdays is like my time where I read. Like I've just dedicated like Saturdays every week to like get some reading in because I don't have to deal with it. And my biggest issue is like the wind down at the end of the day, and reading at the end of the day. I don't know, dude. I just haven't added it into like my wind down like. I don't know. And like every time I read, I start reading and then I always end up staying up later and then I'm super tired the next day and then I try reading again. And it's just this vicious cycle. I don't know. There's something mentally wrong with me.
I've fallen asleep and gotten like totally lost on where I was in a book too.
Oh yeah, sure. That definitely is
frustrating. And it's doubly frustrating for me as a writer because you're influenced kind of by the things around you. So if I'm reading something, I have to do a degree of separation or else it starts showing up in my work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One more. This is actually the first week I'm not going to be able to catch up with the chat. You said they're coming in hot this week. And
look at that.
There's a lot of people down there.
Kikomon as well. He's been all over the place.
I know, dude. Kikomon's been everywhere. Well, yeah, that was Mike's stream earlier this week. He did the drawn and quartered with Kikomon. So they drew Kikomon.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw some of that, but I wasn't able to actually like watch it in its entirety. I had to like
there's some good ones.
Skip. Yeah, those are fantastic.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Over here on the local side, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a drinkwithcrazy.locals.com if you guys would like to get around the whole, YouTube thing and the whole Google thing and the whole, those guys, go over to drinkwithcrazy.locals because that's where Frequency Studios and Sword Rush are chatting right now. And Frequency Studios for $4.20. It says, let's rock. I hate that Mike started that on my streams. All right. Oh, Richard, how has your last week been?
It's been good. Yesterday was busy because I had a interview drop with Vindicated Entertainment that I really enjoyed, as well as an article about his business that he does. He's a tabletop RPG and card game designer. I really enjoyed it, and I want to talk to him more. I'm like, I want to collaborate on something, but
yes,
but then I also went on Immortal Rising Comics YouTube channel, and I'm trying to remember if that's. I was gonna say I need to find a link real quick for that.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember if it's just for his channel. I was gonna say I know it was Immortal Rising Comics, but I don't know what his actual channel.
I believe it's Immortal Rising Comics.
Is it just that? I want to make sure that I'm not sending
there.
people the wrong way.
I don't know.
So
yeah,
but I had a great time with him, and I'm just enjoying talking to everybody and getting to know more and more people in the Iron Age.
Vindicated Entertainment down in the chat. We were just talking about you, good sir. So fantastic to see you here.
Good to have you here.
Oh man, yeah. It's the engagement. The engagement's been just engagement's such a dirty word. But if you say like, oh, the love that we've been getting, it's just like, well, it's kind of gay, it's just the energy. I guess the energy around us, the energy is just, oh man, it's just like, it's so fantastic. I'm down. Mr. Daniel P. Riley, how has your last week been, good sir?
Not bad. Got some more work in on a GCI 2. Tomorrow morning, finally, I made a decision for Saturday morning side projects. Tomorrow morning, my Comedies Tragedy short story arrives on, as I put it, and Richard kind of gave me crap for, the trash heap that I call my blog.
I'm
I
not
don't know
giving
this
you
trash
crap
heap
for your
yet.
blog this time. Your site is fine. You just need to not call it a trash heap whenever you're trying to promote stuff.
No,
It's cool. No. He call it
it's the
trash
other
heap. I'll go be the trash panda. I will trash panda the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what happens to one of the two villain duos in Legacy of Heroes comedy
That's fantastic.
after the book. So those of you that have read the book, there's a little short on what's going on. It also kind of adds some more elements to the upcoming stories, just a tiny little bit, but it's mostly focused around the background of the character comedy. And hopefully by next weekend, I will have the reverse tragedies comedy done, which is going to be a lot darker than I usually go. So, just so you guys know, I'm not big on the grim, dark, gritty stuff, but
Grimdark.
yeah, we're
Grimdark.
making a super villain, so this needs to go some hellish places.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And of course, I was gonna wear my pedophile disposal service shirt in solidarity with Bryce's wife,
Careful
but
with that
this came in the mail.
one. That's awesome.
But this
yeah,
came in the mail.
And monetized.
Yeah, and demonetized. Oh yeah, no. YouTube's been hard on that. It's whatever. It's,
I figured YouTube would have been like, shut it down.
Yeah. I'm surprised the stream hasn't gone dark yet. Oh god. Well, yeah, because you saw my wife's shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Dead.
And I mentioned it on Twitter in response to her, and she's like, I need to see this. So I was like, I'll wear it on stream. But then I got this mail.
Oh, so you're a liar. I get it. That's fine.
Hey,
Whatever.
it's literally right here.
It's literally right here.
We're both.
I can wear both.
Don't make me show everybody on stream.
Oh, good God. Mr. TJ Marquis, I hope I'm saying that correctly.
That's correct.
Okay. Daniel corrected me a few weeks back. He's like, no, dude, you're an idiot. It's not. I'm like, okay, thank you. So, Mr. TJ Marquis, how has your last week been, good sir?
It's been a good week. Been busy. Just with work. Freelance stuff. Writing. Did about half of a screenplay this week. So.
Ooh.
Very cool.
Lots of words flying out all over the place.
I love hearing how busy people like always are. Mm-hmm. It inspires me to not be lazy, which it doesn't seem to work, but it does inspire me. And I always think, you guys are always writing, you're always going. And as somebody who talks just infinitely and never shuts up, I sit here and I listen to the amount of words you guys put to the paper all the time, and I have to ask the question: do you ever get to the end of the day and you just don't even want to think words anymore? You don't even want to talk anymore? Like how do you balance that? Like,
yeah, definitely.
Quiet.
Go
time.
ahead.
Yeah, just chill, yeah.
Well, for example, today, actually, in order to get myself to a point where I was able to come on the stream and not be a complete zombie, I spent an hour and a half laying on the couch listening to music in the dark.
Just kind of get some of the sensory stuff and just kind of focus. Yeah.
I told my daughter after we got home from me picking her up from work, I said, I'm kind of out of it right now and I need some quiet time, get dinner going, and then whatever you're gonna do, I'm gonna hang out down here, but I just need a little peace. And she's like, okay. So she went upstairs and I just zoned out for an hour and a half.
No, I get it. I absolutely understand. I like lately before like streams and stuff, I just I jump in like some hot water, just jump in the shower, just hot water, and just decompress, just chill. I'll be listening, listen to streams or whatever, and I just something to okay, let's just leave the world over here for a minute and just chill. And that's kind of what I've been doing lately that just has really helped, especially because it's cold where I live.
And I have a feeling that TJ is probably very similar to me, but writing in and of itself, because I write fiction, he writes fiction, it's kind of more of an escape and like an adventure into another world in our heads than it is like really work. It's not really work to us. We have that passion. I know because him and I have had many conversations about writing over the course of him joining Laureate way back when it started. So yeah.
It really is like play or like you said, like an adventure.
Maybe not writing the screenplay so much, but writing your own.
Actually, it is. It's a bit of. It's not as like in depth, but you still have to think about like how does everything kind of synthesize into this like more stripped down format.
Yeah,
so, like, the world is still there, and it still has to like, you still have to construct it around you to get it done. It's just not as much detail in words. But yeah, I was gonna say with the question about like recharging or like like doing something else. Like even though it is fun, like you got to engage the different parts of your brain, and games have really done it for me. I just like between novels, I have to binge a game for a while. And this time, incidentally, it's been Dwarf Fortress, which is it's a nice time sink, but it's like it just helps, clears everything out.
The Steam version.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was told not to play that game because I was told that my channel would die. I would play that game and then just Drink with Crazy would just be no more.
We never see Royce again.
Yeah, it's I was gonna say it's quite the endless rabbit hole if you want to go into it, but especially for adventurer mode, which isn't in the Steam version now currently. So I'm looking forward to whenever that comes out.
Yeah, me too.
Disappear down the rabbit hole.
Oh, I love the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole is so fun. Oh, it's so great. So, because I was being yelled at in the chat, everybody's like, why didn't I get a notification for this? And they're like, Royce forgot to share it in the Gilded. I'm like, okay, so it's in the Gilded now. Okay. All right, it's in the Gilded. But let us get to, I kind of had that weird question, but I wanted to ask that just because, I don't know, Daniel told me I could tangent, so I'm going to phrase my tangents in the form of a question now. Kind of like Jeopardy. But anyway.
Yeah, I gave him permission to run wild tonight, guys. Good luck.
Yes. I'm so sorry, TJ.
I was
blame Daniel.
Sold on this, so we're going with.
I'm here for
Let
the
Royce
ride.
take the wheel. See what happens.
Oh no! Never. I'm not going to make that joke anyway. We're going to let Royce take the wheel. Like Jesus. Anyway. Sorry, I hate that Carrie Underwood song. Sorry. Bad joke. Carrie Underwood. She bothers
and
me
into a tree.
And there we go. Anyway, it's stop it. You guys are making it worse. Anyway, Mr. TJ Marquis, first time we've had you on. Why don't you introduce yourself? Talk about your most recent works, and just go for it. Tell us what you want to talk about tonight.
Cool. So I write science fiction and fantasy, mostly fantasy so far. I got some sci-fi stuff kind of in line in the very long queue of things to be written. That was the script I was working on this week, is a little more normal, no magic, just sci-fi stuff. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, what I really like to do, and anybody who's read it already will see this, is that I like to mush them together as much as possible. So I grew up on a lot of that kind of stuff, like He-Man and Thundercats and just
dude,
all the Final Fantasy stuff. So I love Magitech.
Mm-hmm.
Sword and Planet type stuff.
Yeah, Sword and Planet, or just completely secondary worlds, totally other places, whether there's planet hopping or not. Yeah, just any of that. But so that's what I like to write. And kind of when deciding what I wanted to focus on, when I started writing more in earnest, I was looking at what's available on the shelf and in mainstreams before I got more into indie stuff. and you just don't find very much along those lines unless it's like, like the Warhammer books or like a very few other things, little elements here and there in like the Shannara series, and a few things like that. So not enough Magitech, somebody's got to do it, and so I decided to.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's what I write. I have how many books? 7 or 8 novels, or a couple are more like novella sized, and then one is I called it a demibus because it's like a 2-for-1. It's not the omnibus yet. That's the first 2 books of Heroes Metal together. So it looks like another product, but it's the same, same as the other 2 novels, just in one volume. Which I think maybe from our group bought 2 print copies this week, and if you're here, thank you very much. So that was good.
I remember getting the demibus and was like, sweet, I can just read straight through.
Yeah, I was hoping that people would like that. I thought it would be convenient. There are times when I would grab something like that if it was available, but I've never seen it. And I was kind of thinking of like the idea of a double feature kind of thing with movies, or like the 2-pack of DVDs, that kind of thing.
Oh, grindhouse style double feature.
Yeah. And then that'll go away when all 4 books are done in that stretch of Heroes Metal, and then we'll just have the omnibus, and your demibus will be a limited edition collector's item.
So get it now while it lasts.
Yeah, get it now while you can.
I do need your links, good sir. I do need the links. I do have the Amazon link pulled up, but I need the links so that way we can share.
Hold.
No, you saw nothing.
What is on that mug, my friend?
Nothing.
Whoa.
This is my family's idea of a joke here. Hold on, there we go.
King Richard!
Yeah.
Official!
I know.
Oh!
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Oh, King Richard. Oh, I am so happy. I am so happy.
Eagle eyes, man. You're not sneaking anything by me.
Yeah, I didn't think about it until it was already burning my fingers. I think I've used it before on stream and nobody noticed. So I thought about it after the fact.
Yeah, usually your camera's set up so close that you don't really get to see what's going on, even when you're taking a drink. But the way she handed it through, I was just like, what is that?
It's almost like it was on purpose. I don't know.
Oh, I love your wife. Oh, she's amazing.
She's the best. Thank you.
Oh.
Yes, yeah, she's wonderful. I couldn't ask for a better wife.
Oh, fantastic. And all right.
All right, resume now that I've thoroughly
Have all the
embarrassed
most important ones.
Yes, I am so sorry, TJ. Sometimes we do really well. We're like serious. It's good, we have a little fun with the chat. And then there are other nights. And I apologize for you being on one of our other nights.
It's totally
we don't
all
plan
right.
them.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, if it's too polished, it's not rock and roll, right? So
Right. So, no, I'm so glad. Oh, Ram is down in the chat. I meant to say hi to Ram earlier. Every time I see it, Ram doesn't come around very often, so I have to say hi to Ram. And I also have to say, ban Calvin Gulata. He's down there. He's going to bring the Thoughtbots. So no. Okay, so just looking at, because TJ, I think you reached out to me, or you tagged me a little while back, and I was not able to pick up, Bloodbane. But you look at Twitter and you see just many, many books in your, in your Twitter profile, and all of them that you've written. How long have you been at this?
So like most of us, I've been writing since, early teens, really. And one of the books actually goes back that far, which, again, that sounds cool, but that's pretty much all of us. Everybody has something they've had in their head for a while, if not actually writing it out.
For sure.
but then around, I don't know, maybe 2015 or 16, I was doing a lot of just kind of more in-depth, I guess, study of writing, listening to podcasts and stuff, and just picking up more stuff, specifically writing excuses that Brandon Sanderson does with his friends, or did. He's not really on it as much now. And yeah, I just decided I need to work harder. Like, instead of just writing when I feel like it, I'm going to make it more of a habit and just get stuff out. So writing increasingly with increasing intensity since then, for 4 or 5 years or so.
I gotta ask, is this like a full-time gig at this point, or is this still a...
So yeah, I have been blessed enough for the last year and a half to be able to work from home and do some freelance stuff.
Yes.
Okay, very nice.
Now that income is not all from my books. So don't, guys, don't feel like you don't need to go buy them, because you should.
Right.
But
Buy the book.
I love that shill. That was the best shill I have heard. No, guys, my writing, I've been blessed to do it for a year and a half. Oh, but it's not from the books. It's no, buy the books. I love it. I love
so
it.
through various means, I managed to pick up some clients, and in particular one who was quite good to me over the last year or so. And yeah, so you always got to be on the lookout for more, and trying to get some more stuff set up for the mid to distant future now. But yeah, writing full time, and enjoying it.
Awesome. Well, that's fantastic, and I always think it's good to, capitalize on any opportunities that you have like that. I mean, no, whatever I say, go for it as fast as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. No, not even a lie. Oh no.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome watching the change over the course of 2022 from when we TJ and I first met over Twitter, and he joined Laureate when I opened it up, and now big change in 1 year.
Yeah, it's been cool to see just kind of everything elevating lately. Your channel and just what everybody's doing, the website. Yeah, it's been good. I hope it continues.
I think it will. I'm
keep pushing,
optimistic about things, and I think that there's a lot of people who, aren't quite as far along in the process as you are in terms of the number of books they've got out and everything else. And I think that there's still a lot of people getting up to speed, but I think that there is there's always been an existing wave or an existing group of creatives that have been, grinding at it. But I think that there's also kind of like a renewed group of people and a fresh wave of people who have really decided, oh, wow, there's the culture is not going to fix itself. Nobody's going to, magically flip a switch and go back to making stuff that I want to read. And, I need to go out there and do it myself. And I guess nobody else is doing it. So, hey, there's even a market for it, maybe, So.
And that wave is pretty big. Thinking back to like 2021, even 2020.
Yeah.
Guys like me and TJ just starting, really getting into it at that point. There were a few that were already establishing themselves and were like steps ahead of us that we were sort of falling behind and listening to. But there weren't nearly as many as there are now. And even with us being like low mid tier, I guess you would call it, everyone behind us that's just starting out, there's so many now.
Well, I've been asking this question. Is it like, is there so many now, or is it like, I really think that, and I mean, we talk about Razor Fist all the time on, the channel, because we kind of have to mention him when we talk about this whole Iron Age term.
Mm-hmm.
That term, I think, just galvanized the feeling that was out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, are there so many more people out there, or was that term just so happened to be the perfect term that everybody went, but wait, I've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that term. And I think, and that woke me up to what a lot of people were doing out there. And I think that
from a community position, yeah, I think the Iron Age moniker, the banner itself, brought a bunch of disparate groups together. But what I meant by the wave is that there are a lot more people that are moving into the indie creation sphere. Not just like the community itself, but actually producing books, comics. Like comics was the big thing. 2 years ago, everybody wanted to start their own comic book. And then we started to see this surge of new potential authors that were working towards their stuff. And they're like, okay, how did you do that? How did you publish your book without some, company backing you?
I think it really did inspire a lot of people who were like kind of working to work harder. Kind of the same. That's the same thing that happened to me, just through different means. But when you have somebody with as much energy as he has, telling you to get up and go do something, and a lot of other people are listening to him too. There's a social element to it, and everybody, if you like him, you want to listen, and sometimes it just takes somebody with that kind of a personality. But it's also similar to what happened to me around that same time that I started getting more serious and started putting stuff out. I wrote more seriously before that, but around 2020, I was kind of picking up with the Pulp Rev people on Twitter, who are all very hard workers, and they write a ton, because that's kind of the whole thing. And that was kind of like, Pulp Rev works if you're a writer, because you can kind of begin to understand what it means, and especially if you're already into pulpy stuff. But it's not the same kind of, it's not as grabby as Iron Age, because more normal people aren't gonna grasp it in quite the same way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit in other streams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a tendency to think that branding is silly, especially on the inside of things, if you're more in the know. But I think that I think that there are people who are very cynical about the power of branding. Let's put it that way. But I think that, hey there, man, good to have you. But I think that the Iron Age moniker was good branding, and it came at a kind of a what would you call it, like a confluence of various other things happening. Obviously, it was inspired directly by the Rippaverse success, but as I've said before, there's plenty of other movements that have been kind of growing and percolating for years now. And also, I think, just honestly, there was probably an overconsumption of media, of existing media, where people just burned through a lot of things in the 2 years prior, starting with our favorite COOF related lockdowns and whatnot. So I think that it was just kind of like a lot of little things stacking together. So, people burned through old stuff and they went, I've watched this like 3 times already, or I've read this already in the past 2 years. And people got a little bit more restless and dissatisfied with stuff. And so I was going to say, I think Katie also made the comment that she says that she feels like there's ears out in the void now. And I think that there are more people starting to make that pivot. I still don't think it's I just saw that. When did you change my name?
Yes. So, Daniel, when you and I were laughing at that, he had no idea, and that
No
made it
idea,
even
and that's
better.
why I didn't say anything.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Daniel, you're a
Okay.
beautiful,
Now,
beautiful
see, I was
soul.
listening to him, so I didn't read the name.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My mistake for reading or listening to anything that goes on this stream, and it's your mistake as well, everybody. But anyway,
Sorry.
no. But my point is that I think that it's a lot of things that came together, and that there was a certain amount of good branding with the name Iron Age. Maybe there'll be some better branding in the future, but for now, I think it works well, and it helps with the networking as well as kind of like a pseudo marketing, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
No, it really does. And I mean, the networking from that term is absolutely insane. And I have seen, so I'm going to use Kikomon as an example, right? Kikomon more in the political sphere, right? Listen to a lot of Eric July, was very excited for the Eric July stuff coming out. And I did my first Eric July video, and my title kind of pissed a lot of people off because that's just how I do my titles. But he was like, wow, no, yeah, he liked my take. So he came in, and then the Iron Age moniker hits. And then somehow that I felt that, but I didn't really do much about it. And then it just clicked. And now Kikomon is going out there and buying all these books from people who are like, joining my Gilded and stuff like that. These Iron Age creators, giving him feedback, telling him what he likes. I think he's helped a bunch of them in different ways. And so just in that one instance, not even in other instances, just in that one instance, the term Iron Age did that, right, with one person. And it's happening with so many more people. Mm-hmm. And it was really, it's, and everybody goes, oh, well, it's just this new movement. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. It's been here. It just didn't have a name, right?
Well, I would say that. Go ahead.
Oh, that was kind of my point. No, it's been here. It didn't have a name, and now it does. And I was trying to make the point on like Sunday Coffee last week. I was like, guys, it could be called the Pink Fluffy Puffy Unicorn Movement. The name doesn't matter. The name doesn't matter. It's the energy and the enthusiasm that people have. The name just kind of gave a focal point to go, because everybody's like, well, I want good stories. I want good stories. I want good stories, but I can't find good stories. And now there's that name Iron Age. So somebody goes, hey man, believe in the Iron Age, kind of, down with just writing my own stuff and getting away from corporate media. And somebody go on Twitter and type in Iron Age, right? I do like that hashtag, and now they can go find people who are talking about it, and it just kind of gave that like a funnel for normies like me to be able to find that stuff.
Well, one thing I'll say is that I don't think I would have fired up Pink Fluffy Puppy Media. So I do think the name was pretty good, but I think the other good thing that's happened with this, at least in my opinion, is that I don't really feel like we have we obviously have a community here of people that have especially formed around Iron Age Nights and some of the more frequent contributors and whatnot to the website, but mostly everybody's kind of part of the same community. But I don't feel like we're necessarily have a clique forming, which despite some of the, kind of wishes for that to be the case. And I think that's good. I think that one of my goals is to not form cliques and not make it seem like we have a club here that is our club and nobody else can come in and blah, blah, blah. Because I think that's one of the problems. And I understand people wanting to gatekeep their smaller communities, and I'm all for that. But I think that the benefit of coming afterwards and after all these other, kind of growing movements and so on and so forth, is that we can be a little bit more, hey, yeah, anybody's welcome. You want to set up a writing community, you're welcome to boot anybody you want out of that writing community. That doesn't mean that you're booted out of the Iron Age or something. You know what I mean? And so on and so forth.
He showed up. He showed up. Hey, Mike. So that is.
Oh, you called him Mike this time. That's moving right on up in the world.
I try to. I'm gonna try to say hello, Mike, to him like in the first place, so people go, wait, Mike who? Mike S. Miller, because I mean the guy deserves to have his actual name said.
He's just lurking. In the
yeah, and then after that, I'll start calling him Mark. So
because of the restraining order.
So I have an open invite to Mike, and I totally forgot to invite him to the show tonight.
Well, it's too late to start now. So
yeah, it's too late. It's too late.
What do you think, TJ?
But if I would, and I would extend this to Mike and John. Mike, John, if you guys have questions that you guys would like to ask TJ about his work, I'll send you guys the links, and Mike and John can come on and poke and prod our guest in the ways that we like to see people poked and prodded.
Yeah. Actually, John was one of the first ones from the Pulp Rev type group that gave me feedback on questions I was asking the guys on Twitter. So
that's great.
I remember finding John from way back then.
Yep.
John has been hugely kind to the channel, and then brought me onto his stream, and a little bit scarred now. So thanks for that, John. I appreciate it. But yeah, no, it's that freaking term. I want to talk about it more, but I don't want to talk about it more. I want to get back to TJ because there's so much. I want to have a night where we just talk about the Iron Age and we get into the nitty gritty and we just dig into it, but that's not as Aragorn would say, it is not this day. But TJ, what is going on with Bloodbane? It's the newest thing that I've seen you advertise.
Yes.
What's going on with that? A pulp light RPG novel.
Or is it lit RPG?
It's lit RPG.
It's
lit.
It is.
It's
LITE.
There's a reason that it says light.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't see that used that much, but people do sometimes refer to them as light RPGs if the rules if it's more gamey than game lit, but less RPG than lit RPG. So of course I have to be as much on like the edge of something as I possibly can, and so I picked that confluence of pulp and horror and game lit and lit RPG, and that's where I wanted to play around. So oh, thank you, Raven. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, sounds like you did, so great. Yeah, so I had wanted to do a lit RPG for a while, but to do it as well as I want to do it is a lot of work. I like designing games. It's not something that I do like full time because I'm busy writing stories. And someday I'll probably give it a shot because I have some other lit RPG type ideas. But one thing that occurred to me along the way is it would be really cool to read a Castlevania type thing that's a lit RPG. And then I realized, hey, that's like actually a really pretty simple system to throw in as well. So like maybe I can do this and make it feel like you are playing. Oh, cool. That's awesome to hear, Katie. Katie's reading it, she says.
Yes.
I shouldn't look at the chat while I'm trying to talk. That was a bad idea.
It's distracting.
I know, it's terrible.
So I have the chat up here. I also have like gilded, I have a lot going on. So it's
I'm gonna leave that to you. I think I just learned a lesson.
Yeah, to trust, and I learn it every single week. And
I have them running in the background, but I barely look at them, or else I'm just
have to,
never going to
put my hand over it or something. Or maybe
you can set your phone up there. I do that sometimes.
I let each voice in my head take a different direction during the stream, and that's how I'm able to do this.
Yeah,
and that's almost not even a lie. Thank you so much, Maji Chan, for gifting the Drink the Crazy memberships. And Ram, thank you so much for becoming a member for 3 months. He goes, he says, and it's apparently me quoting this. Royce, look at me. I am the Iron Age now. Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. I don't know if any of y'all remember, someone's going to, but the Worlds of Power books that Nintendo Power put out way back, I guess probably early 90s.
I remember.
No.
So I remember reading the Castlevania one and then kind of being like, that was kind of disappointing. It wasn't as gamey as I wanted it to be. Like, I did not like stuff where the characters from the story came into our world or where we went into theirs, like where the people from the real world went into the game or story world. I just wanted to read a Castlevania book, and that's not what they did. So like that kind of got channeled in there as well. And so I call it, sometimes I'll refer to it as a pastiche of Castlevania. It ended up being a little more than that, I think. Especially once you consider the characters' motivations, they're way different, and stuff like that. But all in all, I wanted something with that kind of vibe, dark vibe, fighting monsters, killing a lot of evil things, and so that was that side of it. Part of it was also that I think kind of made it a little bit richer than it would have been if I had just done a straight action piece. Was I follow and interact with an author named Misha Burnett, who everyone should read because he's great.
That
really, really good.
Name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, you probably on Twitter you've seen him mentioned here and there.
Okay.
He also
I tag
does
him sometimes.
A number of anthologies through Cursova.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does his stuff through them and a few other small presses, I think. But yeah, great guy to read. And one thing he'll put out, threads about his philosophy every now and then. And one thing he was saying is, sometimes it's okay to pull back and give people like a normal origin and like normal motivations. And so that kind of got stuck in my head. And I was thinking like, okay, like how intense could you make it if a father just wants to get back to his wife and daughter? And like, how, like, what is he going to be willing to get through to get back to them?
I would become a very different man. Just 100%. That's not even a lie.
So that's the core. That's the core of that plot. There's a bunch of evil things.
Bloodbane would resonate with you, Rice.
What's up?
I said Bloodbane would resonate with you pretty hard, Rice. I read it. It's a book right up your alley, dude.
All right, it's going on the wish list.
I need to get on with it.
I'm so far behind.
It's hard to make it through the pile, man. It's hard. Can I
ask you
even harder for him? He's like constantly streaming.
Yeah.
I don't mean to, but it happens. I have no excuse. Okay, just shame me in the chat. It's fine. I'm here for my lashings.
So I wanted to ask you about, if you don't mind me derailing your
anything you got,
discussion about Bloodbane, but I was curious about Bliss. I really enjoyed your short story about let's see, your Archive of Bliss, the one that you sent in as part of the Geode prompt. I like that one a lot. Obviously, I was gonna say I think the tree was you were one of the first submitters, first people to send in a short story for Iron Age Media, and thank you very much for that. And I think the tree is one of the I think it was called A Father and Son. We might have reworked the title whenever it got put on the website, but I enjoyed that one a lot. As far as short stories go, have you done a lot of short stories? Are there any of those that you expect to continue expanding on?
So I've kind of through all this and through all the interactions, especially on Twitter, gotten drawn into doing more short stories, which has been good. Because it's fun to you can get out some ideas rather than spending like a whole novel on something. You can just kind of check something out for a few thousand words or 10,000 words and then move on. So, that's nice. It's also good practice. But yeah, I've been in a couple of other anthologies. Actually, Misha Burnett did one that was Adventure Tales for Young Readers, I think is what it was called. And I had a sci-fi one in that. And then I did the Periapsis Christmas that just came out.
Okay, cool.
Which was
speaking
fun.
of that,
you got that? Yeah.
Yeah,
good stories in there. Great writers.
I have not gotten to it yet. It's on my list, and my Saturdays are my day to read. Saturdays, like I literally tell my wife and kids, I'm like, okay, I have to do this. Family, I love you, but shut the.
Yeah, I got a fantasy one dropping shortly with another, headed up by another writer. I'll wait till he announces that, and then I feel like there's something. Oh, I did one. I ended up inheriting a Discord server called the Indie Space, and I haven't really been able to do much with it. But it was supposed to be kind of writing new writer support, and kind of like what Daniel's doing with Laureate. But the creator of it had just tons of stuff, and he wasn't able to wrap up the anthology he had planned. So I finished that up, and that was called Gumshoes and Gamma Rays. It's about basic space and sci-fi detectives. And do I have it or did I give it away? I think I got it. I got it here. So there's that.
That's awesome.
And
I like the title.
There's some also, there's I don't remember who chose that, but it was good. There's some good writers in here. My sister-in-law, EJ Robinson, is actually in there. Some of our other friends that are on Twitter, and then Kitsunchi is on there, or Chea, I think you say. I don't know how you say it. But yeah, they're all good.
Welcome to my world.
Stories.
That's me reading names on YouTube every day.
But yeah. So there's short stories out there, and more hopefully on the way.
Awesome.
I have an idea for an anthology that I would like to edit as well. But I kind of want to see if I can get one of the small presses to work with me on it. And so that's on like my gigantic list of things to do. Find somebody to put that with.
Eventually, yeah. Well, that's awesome. And as always, I always appreciate the short stories that you've been kind enough to send in to Iron Age.
Yeah, I wish I could do every week.
No, I know, and I mean it is a.
It would be fun,
it's a
but
lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to make sure that the prompts are a little bit more varied throughout the month, because I feel like December kind of got very samey, in some regards, like not overall, but I wanted to make sure that there was like a decent divergence for each one, so that people could pop in, grab one that they liked, and then go about their business. But I really liked the world of Bliss and the feeling of kind of like that nice mix between the actual science, like that the characters have some kind of a tangible grip on, and then the more mysterious out there aspects of it. So I always think that those are really fun blendings, as far as the place within whatever you want to call that dividing line between fantasy and science fiction. So
yeah, the world for that is it's actually I decided to place it in the world for a series of novels that I have planned. I have I have the first one done. I want to do like the rapid release kind of thing, and so that series is in line, to get done. 1, 2, 3, and then just put them out. But it is more of a Magitech universe, and so I mean, there's tons of stuff I could go off on talking about that. But I thought using that for those stories would be a fun way to kind of work out some of the ideas in my head for it, and just build stuff up like in my subconscious so that when I write the novels, there's even more meat on the bones.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So for those out there, and I understand to like a rudimentary level, but for those out there, the Magitech, explain that and what draws you towards that. So give like a brief explanation for those in the chat who may not know, and for those hosts who also don't know, whose name we will not name. And I know I understand in principle. It's not that, but Magitech, go.
Sure.
Yeah, what is it? What draws you to it?
So a great example to add even before the definition would be Final Fantasy. So any of your Final Fantasy that's more on the sci-fi side than fantasy, they pretty much got magic, and they call it that too. Like Final Fantasy VI, I think they spell it differently.
Gotcha.
TEK, but that's it. And I think of it as just either integrating magical stuff with the technology they have, or often using magical power sources to power the technology, things like that. And really, there's some like mechanical benefits to doing it, which is that you feel even less required to explain how things work. Because you don't even have to touch how a fusion reactor this big could fit inside of somebody's rifle. You just say that it's powered by a magic crystal and move on. So you could say that's lazy, but I think I would say it's fun.
There was something that, and the one thing every time somebody says that is if you, and I know I didn't read the books, but if you watch like the Expanse show, in the Expanse show, it is mentioned that the Epstein drive, gave the ability to travel the solar system much more quickly, and turning a trip to Mars from this multi-month thing that it takes us now into like a couple of days, right? And the writers are like, look, we're not nuclear engineers, we're not physicists. We said, here's the Epstein drive, and that's it, right? We're just, this thing was made, it works, and move on. And I honestly think that that's one of the things I want to see writers get back to, is I just want writers to just drop this thing and go, this thing, here it is, it works, let's go. And just, this is the thing, it works like this, and that's it. That's all you need to know, because the rest of the story is important. And I think for a time, at least the major guys were kind of getting hung up on like trying to explain stuff, and it just would break it. It's like we don't. And as fans, we want to know all those little details. We want to stop answering the fans. Stop talking to them.
There was one caveat to the Expanse Epstein drive, though. And it was said many times, both in the show and in the books, that the drive itself was inherently dangerous.
Hold on, James. I'm not conflating technobabble with Magitech at all. I can explain that a little later. I just wanted James commented that, and it's like a fly in my brain. We all know how much I hate flies. Love you, James. Sorry.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is just helping to place a story into the fantasy realm by using things like that, but then also like be able to be in the future and not be stuck in like a medieval fantasy period. That's always been something that I wanted to do, and so especially if you look at Coming to Power, there's a very high-tech city that's sitting there just kind of dead, which is something I've always thought is fun. I think in the Sword of Shannara, actually, there were like ancient ruins that you kind of realize, oh, that's our world. That's like the first time you realize it in that series. But then it's not just a bunch of dead skyscrapers. There's also like, I forget exactly what it was. There was some kind of giant like mechanical cyborg beast that they had to fight when they were around the city ruins or something, and stuff like that. Whenever it would come up, like was just always like just like a fire in my imagination. And I always wanted more of it. So, it's up to me to write it.
Yeah.
And that's the other main reason for Magitech.
I did something similar with Tales of Halcyon.
Yeah.
The City of Eld, the second book, was the adventure party finding this long lost city that everyone sort of knew about, but only believed it was kind of a legend, not a real thing. And it turned out to be real. It was very high tech, but it was high tech based on magic. So a blend of the two. Mm. And for fun, I created essentially a Siri / Alexa / whatever you want to call it, AI system that when they powered the city back up came online and scared the crap out of the adventurers, because it's just this voice that comes out of nowhere and it asks them questions and guides them around, but it doesn't actually know anything. So if they ask it weird esoteric stuff like, what are you doing? It's like, I can't answer that question. Try again. And they're like, what? Because I always found that stuff fascinating too. And one of the main characters in that book was a robot from that era that had been lost in a mudslide. The hero character finds him. It's a weird, comical little introduction sequence. So yeah, that's one of the things that I loved about all the stuff that you've written, is that you kind of lean into those same things that I liked. Heroes Metal with the enchantment system that you kind of slid in there with the different dusts, and how that all worked was really intriguing to me. Yeah, I loved Coming to Power, loved Bloodbane. Even though I'm not a lit RPG guy, so those like we talked about many times, those elements where you kind of brought in the hit points and little scan analysis stuff. I get where they were coming from, but it pulled me out of the immersion for a brief moment. And I was like, oh, crap. Because now I want to think about video terms instead of the story.
That's one of the biggest complaints that I see with lit RPG, especially even from fans of the genre, is that the stat stuff will get in the way. But yeah. I mean, I wanted to play with it. Your format
for it with Bloodbane was kind of cool. The loadout right in the beginning of the chapters.
I thought that was fun. I thought it looked cool too.
Yeah, it was really kind of neat, and it didn't take anything away. You were able to look at it and go, okay, he's got X amount of health left. How's he going to make it through whatever's going to happen next? And just, it was a good element in that respect. It was just those weird breaks in between the paragraphs that I went, he looks at this creature, and then we have this like small paragraph of description of the creature and hit points, and I'm like, okay, now we're back to fighting it.
And that's probably why it is a complaint for a lot of lit RPG people, is like you're used to reading prose, and then all of a sudden a different formatting breaks it up.
It's an immersion thing. I've always wondered about that as like as a possibility for the genre, if you could do like a sidebar, so it's not right in the middle of the text, but it's somewhere on the page that you could, like old books, especially if you go into like the Shakespearean stuff, they had little explanations of what the hell he was talking about, because Old English is so far flung from what we speak now.
What is it called? It's and there could be a name, but obviously like in some books that I've read, especially the older books and whatnot, it'll have, obviously you read the whole thing, and then at the very bottom of it, it'll have
I forget the name of it too.
Footnote. Is it just footnotes? But put like a footnotes thing down there and be like the description of the of the encounter in the would something like that be better than maybe like a sidebar? Or I guess
Yeah, it's one of those things that we haven't figured out yet.
You'd have to talk to the big lit RPG fans, because like some of them really like it the way, like one of the Bloodbane got a 5-star and they were like, it's great, I wish there was more stats. So it's like,
it's great, I wish there was more stats. And then you get people that are just like, why are all these stats here? And you're just like,
I hate the stats.
So but I knew that one was a big it was an experiment for me, and it was an experiment to put it out, because I have a bunch of pulp colleagues and I didn't know if they were going to bother to do it or even want to read it, whereas they will often pick up a lot of my other books. So it was
surprisingly when you did those parts where he was building weapons and did the loadouts for the weapons, that didn't bother me nearly as much as the enemy information in the middle of the story.
Okay. Are you guys trying to turn gamers into readers?
Yes, that's what lit RPG is.
Pretty much. I think
it worked.
By the way, Swift Sword Rush, that's the lesson that I learned. I see you over there in the locals chat. Yeah, so there's lesson 1 today, so you cannot leave it blank anymore.
Yes.
He goes, lessons Royce has learned each week. 1, there's nothing.
But it's not just with TJ or like the indie, our circle of lit RPG things. I read, I think it's called Level Up or Die. It was years ago. It was written by Adam Lane Smith and Joshua Lysick. And I had the same complaint. It was a well-written book, but just the break of immersion every time it happened didn't work for me.
Well, I think so. I've been thinking about this a little bit. That I feel like there are some new mediums that have yet to be discovered, right? And I feel like, okay, maybe this is attention spans have definitely shrunk over time. You know what I mean? Like you went from. And then also gotten longer on things that people are actually interested in. But people will, sit there and spend hours on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or something like that. Yep. And, I don't necessarily want to suggest that everybody just, stoop down to the lowest common denominator of things. But I do think that there is value in looking at like, well, why are people doing that, and is there something that's maybe that we can learn from that, and
there's
leverage
always
in
something
some
you
way.
can learn.
Because I do feel like one thing that I've seen is that there's been in the past decade there's been a major resurgence in very small indie games, right? And you are now starting to see the old school platformers and even point and click adventures and all this other stuff. And so, some of it's the tools that have been made available. And I don't know, I'm like sitting here thinking about what's the medium that blends these things together. Does it need to be on a book? Does it need to be in a book? Is it better? Is it one of these things that it's miserable as an ebook? You know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like, to me, I don't think I would ever buy a comic as an ebook. You know what I mean? So, I would just want to like physically have the art, because it's just something different than if you're looking at it on a screen. So I think there's,
except for in the full visual range, like with what JVP's doing.
Well, but that's different. That's not an ebook. Okay. You know what I mean? Like that's still, that's a combination of like it's a video with some amount of animation, you know what I mean? So you've obviously got like a very strong music and audio portion. So I think that, I'm curious with what JVP is doing with that, but I think that kind of medium exploration is something that is also going to probably end up defining parts of the Iron Age, of people trying new stuff and finding people who because I mean, at the end of the day, in my opinion, if you get somebody reading who has just stopped entirely, I think it's a win. And people can complain about, oh, well, it's not as, we should actually be having them read the Encyclopedia Britannica before they're allowed to start enjoying themselves. But, I
Don't
think
get me
a
started on
reader
that.
is a reader. And once you establish that habit, I think it's great. And I especially think it's a good idea to kind of put your foot in the door with new mediums when you have a larger backlog like you do.
Yeah. And TJ is notorious for blending genres and mad scientist concoctions with what he does.
Well, and with blending all of that, the thing, because whenever I jump out, I always pull the stream up and listen. One of the things that, with blending different genres and things like that, I mean, especially if you're going to do the lit RPG stuff, that could lend itself to TJ potentially taking Bloodbane and turning it into a read along where where it is a book and then you have some action where, you're reading this story, you're going through it, and then there's the battle sequences. And you could almost merge it in a different way like that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of, especially, and here's something that's been kind of a complaint in the gaming world that I've heard from a lot of people, is a lot of people, the gaming industry has kind of gone towards like, they're turned into like animated movies at this point with, where you play as the character here and there. That could lend something very, especially if you did something in like the 64-bit style, Bloodbane, world. I think something like that could lend itself very well. And that's kind of where we could probably get the blending of the genres together, especially, again, I'm going to rag on this again, getting it in the hands of the kids. You want the kids to read again. It's like, well, and actually that's how we got my daughter to read. She wanted to play one of the Pokemon games really, really badly. And I told her, I said, sweetheart, if you want to play this game, because I knew she had it in her, I was like, you have to read, because there's no dialogue. So if you want to know what's going on, and dude, within like 2 weeks, she was just reading, not full sentences. She was sight reading. She was sight reading road signs, and my wife would call me. And so video games, I think, would be a great medium to do something like that. And especially if you have a guy who's writing, using video games as a method, as a way to do that. I mean, I think that's where the blending could come in.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to do the game version. It's probably not a surprise to hear that I've got tons of game ideas as well. But yeah, it would be fun to do, the game version of that. I'd probably do like 16-bit side scroller, since that's what it's based on. Not that there aren't millions of those at this point, but when you do a good one and it catches on, people love it. I do too. Yeah. I buy all the good ones when I find them.
And Kikomon sent in a super chat for $2 here, real quick. He said he learned English through playing Final Fantasy IX mainly.
Nice.
So
love that game.
That's that's a big thing there. And I usually the super chats I haven't quite worked out yet, guys. I say bring them in and I don't bring them in, and I save some for the end. But that one there, definitely relevant to the conversation about reading and video games and how that world can work together.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's they've tried it, but it's the public education system in the U.S. is a steaming pile of shit, and I'm not ashamed to say so.
No,
as a former teacher who worked for school districts,
don't get me on the government.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. But they did try to break into the video game format as an alternative learning system. They were just really bad at it because they weren't
because they don't.
It's hard to make a good game as it is.
One, they don't understand video games, and two, timing is everything, and sometimes you just don't know when that thing is going to become popular. I mean, look at what Vine was doing many years ago, and it just wasn't popular enough to stay. And all of a sudden, TikTok comes around, does the same thing that Vine is doing, and then all of a sudden, it's the biggest thing in the world because the timing wasn't there.
True.
You know?
I'm not convinced that TikTok is really that much more successful than Vine was. I'm just saying, if Vine
in the
had multi-billion, or a billion-plus country pushing it as hard as they can.
Well, no. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if I go out into my day job, nobody talks about the Vine videos they were watching. Nobody even knew what Vine was in the real world. Everybody that I talk to now, dude, there's this TikTok video that I saw. Everybody. And it's and that's what I mean is timing. It's the video format itself seemed to be that the timing wasn't there years ago, and now it is. And the overall point that I'm making is that the timing might be there now to be able to get kids back into reading by doing these called novel games, right? And, so you make your own novel game. It's got a good story. It's got some action to keep the kids involved. And then they want to, and they read along with it. And, I mean, you put a time lock on like the story as the kids read along with it and then have some good action adventure similar to, Final Fantasy and things like that. But the timing could be there. And I'm not, I don't know. I'm a drunk on YouTube, guys. Don't just let me say stuff. You said I could tangent.
The video game... They have these things, I think they were called visual novels that didn't really take off like it probably could have. And I think the reason for that was, unfortunately, that the majority of visual novels that came out were of the perverted nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, they're around. They can come out. Some people seem to really like them. Mm-hmm. I've never played one myself.
But it's similar to like I don't know if you guys are old enough to even remember these, but it's similar to Choose Your Own Adventures, it just in a video game format instead of in a book. So it does the flip to the appropriate page for you based on the answer that you give.
I actually plotted one for a client a couple of weeks ago.
Nice. I used to love Choose Your Own Adventures.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's a format that could definitely fit really well into the ebook. But the problem is that a lot of ebooks, I don't know if they're well suited. The reader apps are well suited to those kinds of page jumps being inserted organically.
Yeah, you would need a different. And there are some, I can't think of the name right now, and I think I deleted it from my Discord servers, but I can't remember. There are apps that people are trying to get to gain traction, where you build your own, like it's like user created content, but they have some writers that they've already brought in that are like sponsored by them, and they're making stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it makes more sense to give it its own format.
I don't think an ebook it would be too difficult. They do have format options for Jump to. So I don't think it would be too difficult to do in an ebook format, but it may be confusing for like a first time author to try and format for that. They might need a professional.
Well, and
I didn't mean to send us off into the minutia of ebook.
no. Well, but
that was a good question, so that's why I thought about it.
But I like this. But here's the thing: the author doesn't need to format it, right?
True.
And this is where networking comes in.
Yeah.
It's okay. Peter Jackson was not an author, but he probably did the best version of The Lord of the Rings we're ever going to see on film.
Here we go.
Right? It's not necessarily the most accurate to the books, but I've heard a lot of conversation from creative types out there, and generally the way that people who are writing think in different terms. And if we wanted to bridge that gap into something, the author wouldn't have to think of their work necessarily in the terms of a video game. What you do is you get somebody who understands the storyboarding of video games and comes in and says, dude, I like that you have a passion for video games. I want to build a video game based off of this thing. I liked the idea of doing like the book novel thing. Here's how we can work it. And you have another creative come in and network with that person, and they build it that way. It's like Shad wrote a novel.
Collaboration.
Exactly. Yeah. Collaborate. Shad wrote a novel. He's not an artist, can't do a comic book. So what does he do? He calls up and hires Mike S. Miller. They start doing it. And now Shad has turned his novel from a novel into a graphic novel. Mm-hmm. Slightly different formats, but we're going from just written word to a visual medium because you had somebody who understood it and who could take the original and turn it into that other medium. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently it was actually Mike Miller who approached Shad to do the comics. So I was wrong. I stand corrected.
Mike's awesome like that. Not surprised.
See. He approaches me to make fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Hey, he's here. You know,
he is. He hasn't been making fun of me tonight, so that's good. But no, I think that again the collaboration there, and I still stand with whatever is happening here under the Iron Age moniker, or just with people doing what they're doing. Somebody that we are talking with, somebody that we know is going to be the next great storyteller. They're here. They are among us. They're talking with us now. Maybe their story's already out. Maybe it's not out. I don't know yet, but they're here, you know? And I think that's that energy that I want to put out there is don't stop thinking outside the box and don't box yourself into the old ways, because none of those guys did. You know, none of those, that many of them were shunned, and now a lot of them got adopted into the corposphere or whatever we want to call it. But what we are seeing right now is a movement that leads to greatness of maybe just a few, you know, maybe the greatness of many. I don't know, but we're getting there. It's happening. We're seeing it. We're seeing and what's so cool is that we get to live in the day and age where it's all documented on the internet, right? And I really feel like having these conversations and talking about taking someone's book, turning it into a video game, putting that out there, all of a sudden the light bulb is going to, maybe it's most likely not my channel. It'd be really cool if it was my channel that did it though. Like, I'm down, but like it's most likely not my channel, but by talking about it and having these conversations, I wouldn't call it getting off into the weeds. I would definitely call it talking shop and putting that out into the world, because one of these days we're going to go, we were there. We saw the beginning of it. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love conversations like that, like talking about taking a lit RPG inspired novel and maybe some other creative networks with TJ, and then all of a sudden it's the biggest game on the planet one day. Who knows? But like, and you know, and I mean, you know, and you know, delusions of grandeur also help me sleep at night. So just let me have one.
It's not really delusions of grandeur. Yeah, there is a certain
you got to dream big
and element to it, but there's you never know what's going to hit and when. You know, I'm quick to remind everybody that most of our most prolific writers wrote for many, many years before they exploded. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if it was their first, third, or 200th book that took off. It's just the fact that they were there doing the work the whole time.
Yep. You just got to keep going. Mm-hmm. I think audio is going to continue to grow too.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Audiobooks, and I think, you know, maybe different formats.
Something I have to figure out.
Yeah.
And Herman P. Hunter down there, every overnight success is a decade in the making.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 100%.
Yep. got to put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, even even the minor success of Iron Age Media, it's like this is the third website that I've built, and I've been working on other projects and stuff like that in my free time for going on 2 years now. Yep. And I started out learning different languages that I don't even use now. Maybe they'll come in useful in the future, but in a lot of ways it was kind of like, oh, this is actually just really simple. Like I'm just doing the simplest thing possible. And if I had some kind of a like a magic 8-ball telling me what to learn and when to start doing it and exactly what to do, I could have like cut down my time and gotten the site knocked out in no time. But I never would have been listening to that video and hearing that and thinking, yeah, I could do that, unless I'd already been doing it for 2 years. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I think there's a lot of situations like that where you just like, what is it? Like you can't really identify opportunity necessarily until you've like really worked in an area for a while. And then it takes obviously time to develop the skills to get up to speed with that opportunity at the right time.
Mm-hmm. And there's a certain amount of risk involved.
Well, yeah. You're always gambling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's the biggest roadblock for most people that want to break into these sorts of things, is that they may be willing to do the work, but they're not willing to take the risk at the time, Not to bring up current events, because I hate doing that, but Royce is smiling already. The Crowder Daily Wire thing is a perfect example.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
It's a perfect example of it. Yes, all the stuff that happened in between the mudslinging is retarded, but the crux of the conversation, as I mentioned in a couple of tweet conversations I had with people, was that Crowder believed one thing and Jeremy Boring wasn't willing to take the risk.
Well, and what's so funny is technology is so amazing that it is mitigating the risk in so many different ways. I mean, I think about how amazing technology is and what it can do to mitigate a lot of not all of the risk, but a lot of the risk. I mean,
and the cost.
People being, the cost, the time investment. I mean, for all intents and purposes, and I use myself as the example here because I don't feel that I can speak for anybody else, but for all intents and purposes, I'm a freaking radio show host. I didn't have to go to broadcasting school. I didn't have to spend thousands of dollars to do that. I didn't have to work as some intern hoping that maybe, like I did. I literally just, I spent time on YouTube since about 2017 with, a different YouTube channel that I worked on. I still love as an airsoft channel. I still love playing airsoft and all that, but I kind of developed my voice over there, working on that and doing that. And then obviously life throws curveballs. I moved. I ended up, trying different things. And then one day, just through all of that experience and through just, taking the ups and downs and the roller coasters, I sat down one day and I did a video and I found my voice. I just fucking don't read the chat while you're making a serious point, damn it.
I saw that one.
Did you see Herman's? But that's the thing is, and the risk there was the time investment, right? Mm-hmm. The time investment and understanding how to do the showmanship properly, because there's a little bit of showmanship involved in
more than a little bit
in doing
you got to be interesting.
Yeah, don't downplay
it. My personality is kind of like, you guys have had chats with me off stream. My personality is not entirely different. Actually, Convoy's down in the chat. He can tell you how insane I am in real life too. But there is a little bit of learning how to present yourself, whether you're writing, whether you're talking, whether you're writing music or you're developing a film. There's a way that you present yourself. And what's so great is that risk can be mitigated by a lot of the technology that we have now. And
well,
and the overall the sorry, it's a long point here, but I'd like to gush about this a little bit. And you told me I could tangent. You said I could. But the overall point here is that the risk that people don't want to take now is so much smaller and so much less than it used to be. It is still risk, but because of the technology that we have now, because of the ability to network, because of all of that, it's so much less than it used to be, because a lot of people built a lot of what we have to use now.
I can agree with that. King Richard.
Well, the thing I was wanting to like, I'm like, hi, I have a thing I want to say, but
I'm sorry
about that.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But my thing is also, okay, you want to be a radio host? Okay, you need to go set up a radio station. You got to pay for that. You have to spend probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment and licensing and all this other crap. You know, like that is one of the huge like scaling effects of where we are right now. And I don't think people like fully grasp how much I'm reading the chat. How much scaling is possible.
Don't.
I ignored the chat. Sorry, guys.
The phone's going over the chat. Sorry, guys. But you know, it's the potential that people have in terms of time wise has really exploded in the power of the individual. I've kind of harped on it before, but you know, technology in a lot of ways empowers people as individuals. Now, you could say that that power has been used by larger groups to, you know, subjugate people or something, but that's always been the case. You know, there's always a matter of many versus one. But I think that throughout kind of like the steady march of technology, you see individuals getting more and more powerful. And I think that's one of the big things. And I think that, you know, my hope is that with the Iron Age, you have a lot more people willing to actually take up that the powers that they have through tech and utilize them fully, rather than just saying, I'm going to let Facebook handle that, or I'm going to let, you know, some other monolithic entity tackle these things.
Fair point. Can I respond to the statement?
Yeah. No,
go ahead,
TJ,
and then I'll do it.
From Skunks?
Yeah, I'll let TJ make a stop.
I was just going to say, I've been so like just grateful for the stuff that's available. It's just like all the different things that I can try. Like, you know, I've learned some Unreal Engine to mess with, you know, designing games, and I can use Premiere, I can use Resolve for the video editing and stuff. You know, I managed to learn a little bit of Blender. Like, I'm not great at all that visual stuff, but it's just so cool that like you can get these amazing free tools or low cost tools and learn how to do stuff that you're interested in. Because like a lot of creatives, like I think this is pretty common. I've come to realize that I want to make like one of everything. Like I want a
or 10 of everything
and a fantasy movie. I want my books, you know,
gotta catch them all.
Ideas. I want a game, and you know, just it's hard not to. And like you kind of can if you hammer out the time, you know, and maybe not everything's going to be like masterwork level, but you can still try if you want to spend your time on that. It's awesome.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, and that is a good dovetail to answering Skunk's question. You know, as far as risk of failure, there's always risk of failure. But it depends on how you classify failure, because it's one of the things that I often harp on, normalizing failing, normalizing making mistakes. We often look at making mistakes as this like death of whatever it is that we're doing. Like, I screwed that up. It's never going to work now. No, it doesn't work that way. Even when for something as simple as, or not even simple, because book publishing is more complicated than it seems. You write a book, you go through the steps of publishing a book, whether or not it has mistakes, typos, formatting issues, whatnot. You have created something that is now out in the world. Even if one person buys it,
yeah,
it's not a failure.
Yeah,
that is a success. So it's all in how you look at things. To be
failure.
flat honest, Tales of Halcyon doesn't sell very well. My first trilogy doesn't sell very well. The few people that have bought it thought it was whimsically wonderful and a lot of fun to read, but it doesn't sell well. I don't consider it a failure.
No, failure starts in the mind. Failure, for anybody out there, failure starts in the mind. And if you think to yourself, I can't do this, I don't have the time to, I tell my kids, can't is a bad word. We don't say, dude, and my kids say some things. They're my kids. Can't is a bad word. I can't, no. I will, no. You don't say that. You don't say you can't. Okay? You say, okay, I have to figure out a different way to do this. That's fine. That's acceptable, right? Maybe you're approaching it from the wrong way. Can't is a bad word. Failure happens in the mind first, and you cannot give into it. You can't. It is so absolutely detrimental to anything that you want to build.
And the truth of the matter is, you are your own worst enemy.
Oh, 100%.
Because
fear
of failure is literally just in your head. It does, like, there's, what is it called? Oh my God, now the title of the book is blown out of my brain. Something like Amish Zombies in Space is the title of a legitimately published book on Amazon. Look it up. It exists. Just by the title alone.
If they can do it,
no, I'm just saying it exists. If it exists, whatever strange idea you have should exist too. So
fair enough.
If you have it, make it.
Yeah.
And then with writers too, like just having a backlog, even if it's kind of a quiet backlog, is valuable. Because someone may pick up, books 10, 11, and 12 that you've written, you're like your fourth series or something like that, and enjoy it, and then they say, oh, I want more, and they go back and they buy the rest, or talking to their friends like, oh yeah, I read these, I haven't read the old books yet, but I'm gonna get to them, or whatever.
Happens all the time.
So, and then just the practice of getting it out, like I'm much more proficient at getting through the process at this point than obviously than when I started. Like I had put the book Rattan, which is like a YA style sci-fi, mostly sci-fi. It does have some kind of magic-y stuff in it, but I had put it out on Vela in that format last year, which now means 21. So not last year, the previous year. And I let it sit there for a while. It got like one good review and it didn't do much else. Although they paid these really good bonuses for a while, which was interesting. They were just throwing money at you just for having your story there and getting like one page. But anyway,
they were trying to chill the we're paying everybody ridiculously back then.
Yeah, that was cool. So then I decided right before Hans Schanz's was it the Labor Day sale? Oh, I'm going to get this out for that sale in actual ebook format. And so because I've done it several times, it only took me like a couple of days to get everything formatted, kind of cleaned up, get the cover ready, and just all that stuff. And then put it out, made it in time. So that practice is valuable too.
those of you not familiar with Hans Schatz, it's at Aetherzar on Twitter. That's CZAR. He does, I think it's biannually now.
Well, it's been kind of quarterly.
Or is it quarterly? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll do a spring one. He did a early summer last time.
Yeah, it was the summer and the fall. Yeah.
But it's been every quarter since summer.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
It's like a 99-cent fire sale. A bunch of us put our books up and set wherever they're hosted for 99 cents, and then he compiles a big old list with synopsis and everything.
Mm-hmm.
See, I need to know where that happens, and I need all the people that are just like, "Hey, Royce, check out my book." I'll be like, "Okay, so here's what I need you to do, right?" And then just,
yeah,
man.
I think I was gonna say, TJ, I think you even mentioned it to me, and I wanted to get an article up, but it was like very close to when it was going up, and I already had some articles lined up, and I was going to do something, and then I think it was in October.
The last one was November. The last one was Black Friday.
It was
Black Friday,
that's why it didn't happen, because I was on vacation.
Yeah. I made like a real quick promo for it. Like I did like a YouTube short kind of commercial and put that out. It got a few views, and I think I put the link in Gilded and stuff like that. But yeah, it's always fun. It's fun to do. You sell a bunch of books. Doesn't necessarily break the bank, but or what's the other one? What's the opposite of that? Anyway, you get the idea.
What's the I don't know. You're thinking rich people think. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And the thing about Hans,
people make money. What?
People were right.
Yeah. Hans is more of a
make money
commentator.
That'd be great, right?
Yeah, but Hans is more of a political commentator. He does this indie promo spotlight thing as sort of a side gig, so it's not it's not prominent in his repertoire. But he, he's been.
But he shares a lot of our values. I would say.
Yep, he does.
Well, and regardless, I think that there's a growing sense of, not to turn too hard into politics, but into current events and all that jazz. But with the whole Crowder Daily Wire thing, I think that there's a lot of people who are just tired of, just kind of tired of politics and tired of hearing about the same stuff all the time. And I mean, especially, I don't know, I think that there's an opportunity, particularly this year, to gain some traction, because like I was saying, there's a lot of external factors that are also going into it.
Timing is everything.
Coming out of a disappointing midterms, or at least a standard midterms.
Is the biggest red wave since the something thing.
At any rate,
Republican.
That a lot of people are very tired.
That's all it was.
A lot of people are very burnt out on politics.
Daniel, I really need need you to think about your phrasing
before midterms.
No,
or right after midterms, I should say.
Yeah,
not going to happen. I'm going off the cuff, or I'm not going at all.
No, the chat has been there already. I have been silently losing my crap for about a half hour.
I've been watching.
No, I think you're 100% right, Richard. I think that the outrage fatigue is finally getting here. And it took a little longer than I thought it was going to take. For sure. I thought the outrage fatigue was going to be done a couple years ago, and apparently it wasn't.
I think you underestimated the power of Schadenfreude.
Well, I did. But the good thing is that with people just being tired of being angry, I hope that people become enthusiastic about, being intrigued again, being happy, being adventurous in their minds and the stories and in their life. I think that I I really do think that timing is everything, and man, I hope you're right, Richard. I hope that 2023 is just so happens to be the time.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't personally. I think if we get into the the political seasons have been stretching out longer and longer, and it's exhausting. And I think a lot of people are just tired. And so I'm hoping that, I don't necessarily advocate that anybody completely disengage with politics by any means, but I just think that there is definitely a space where people want to do something other than go out and watch stuff that makes them angry, or the same 10 talking points regurgitated in a rotation of like every month or so. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I don't disagree. That's one of the reasons I used to listen to a lot of conservative like AM radio back when I was back in Colorado. I got to a point where I was like, all right, these 10 people, they're saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and it gets really tiring. And here's the thing. I hope that whatever we are doing right now has the staying power that eventually we kind of get to that point, right? As dumb as that sounds, like, eventually I do hope that we somewhat become the old guard and people go, oh, we're tired of listening. Because that means that what we're doing today, could make a difference tomorrow. And, we get to look back on something and go, yeah, but you guys might be tired of hearing what we're talking about now, but you weren't years ago. And we touched on something that was important then. And honestly, I think that's where a lot of the political talk is right now, is people are tired of it, but it was important years ago. And I really, really do think that I'm really hoping that we see a culture shift, not because of necessarily creativity out there, but because of the anger burnout, right? Man,
well,
the rage boners
I
have
think it's just
stupid.
a matter of I think it's just a matter of showing people that there's something else to get excited about. And I think I think people enjoy being excited about something. I know that,
like TJ's awesome books.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's we can.
I have been sharing the links, guys. You should.
I was going to say, and so we can find new people doing new things. And as I've said previously, there's a lot of good stuff that's out there, but and I always encourage people to go out and read some old stuff, some of the older stuff, because there's absolute masterpieces out there. But I think that for people to get like really personally excited about the creation of new things, I think that's an entirely different feeling. And I hope that becomes a more common feeling, because I can say also that you travel in different circles and see how people are, just kind of like the general vibe you get. And I think that there's a lot of negativity going around, in whether it be political circles or other that you're a part of, that I would say most things are pretty negative. And I think that the Iron Age creators have done more than just like keep a stiff upper lip about things. They've really leaned in and said, all right, man, well, this kind of, like you were saying, all right, well, that didn't really sell that well, and I got one review, but I'm going to keep going. And that's just, like, there's going to be a period of time where we kind of get the crap kicked out of us, and you just have to keep going. And I think that determination is going to draw a lot of people.
Yeah, the staying power that Royce was talking about.
Well, in some respects, you have to create your own staying power. Oh, you didn't like my book? Okay, well, I'm not going to stop. I might, and it's, so I'm gonna butcher this. It's something I used to say.
I'm muted. Dang.
Oh. What were you
I'm
trying
saying
to say?
Stuff over here. I was saying I said several things. I don't remember anymore. And
he's not even drinking.
I'm not, I got one of these. You'd think it would help. maybe I'm just jittery. I don't know.
That's why I stopped drinking those things.
Yeah, I was I was saying that well, I was going to agree with Richard about the the determination. I actually just yesterday put out, I call them indie inspiration videos with the blog article as well about that kind of things, like all the things I think that we need to do to differentiate or to elevate our art above everything that we're sick of. And that determination is one thing. Because if you do one thing and give up, then it's cool that you made something, and I would never devalue that. But if we all just keep going, then our space grows, and we have more and more weight. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So aside from listening to Chumbawamba, how do you motivate yourself to keep going? TJ, like, what was your, was there anything that you used in particular? I mean, you mentioned Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah. So what I said when I realized I was muted was that
I do that every stream. I haven't done it this stream, thank God, but I love that you said that because I feel you, fam.
Yeah. What no, I have a very bad short-term memory. What I said, what I was thinking of is that I don't know. I'll come back around to it. That I'd be miserable if I didn't keep going. Like, I can't.
The passion.
Not right. That's it's the passion. It's part of the machine at this point. Like, I can't not write. It makes me grumpy.
Consistency is key, people.
All the ideas build up, and your head just kind of wants to explode. So that's one big thing. I can't not be making stuff, and specifically writing. But as far as gaining inspiration, I mean, it comes from all the usual places. Like, if I can't watch a visually stimulating movie with a good story without wanting to, like I said earlier, make my own, or the closest I can get. So, my brain is going, how can I, or so Heroes Metal is a great example. I was listening to, when it first came to me, I was listening to just kind of for the first time getting into progressive heavy metal of various types.
Yes.
So, like, if you look at their stuff, and the ones that have lyrics, if you listen to them, there's a lot of stuff about metaphysics, and I'm Christian, so it's not all necessarily stuff I agree with, but like the vibe is cool, like, and if you look at their album art, there's like lots of geometrical stuff and like really spacey stuff, and so I got that vibe in my head, and I was thinking, how does this become like a story? Like, what is a story that goes along with this vibe of metal? Because you always get like the burly dude with an axe, like chopping off demons' heads, and that's cool too. I mean, that's
in the book,
in Bloodbane. Yeah, and yeah, that's true. I mean, that's
in Heroes Metal
as well.
Yeah.
I got my Axeman, and my various other metal inspired characters, and that's music is one of the biggest sources of inspiration for me, because it gives me images, it gives me the vibes, the feelings, and then I try to channel that as well as I can into the prose. So that happened actually again with Life City. I was listening to a Japanese noise, what is it called, noise rock or noise punk band called Melt Banana. And
okay, that's a new one to me.
Yeah,
dude, it's not new to them.
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, like, what is a story that feels like this? Like, it worked last time I did it with Heroes Metal, let me try again. So I wanted it to be a little bit hyper, a little bit wacky, a little bit off the wall, and so I wrote that out. It became more of like it's not like a hard allegory, but it became closer to a Christian allegory than I expected it to be. But I still tried to keep that kind of punky flavor. because, as I said, the music inspires me when I listen to it.
All right, I have another question.
Yeah.
In that regard,
Mm-hmm.
so whenever you're writing, do you look at things like themes? Are you more of kind of like a outline type guy where you are like, okay, I want to integrate these things? You go through and you set it out, or do you just kind of like get an idea and start writing and discover where it goes?
Yeah. So if something's really, really poking at me, really, really bugging me to do something with it, then I might sit down and just do like a sample chapter, like just write out the beginning and see how the vibe feels, and if I want to keep going with it. More and more often, I do outline. Part of that is because I've had a lot of practice. So in my at this point in my consulting business, I'm around 400 plots and consultations.
Wow.
So I was trying to calculate the hours because I wanted to think like, where is that? It's between 3,000 and 4,000 hours at this point.
It's a lot
that
of
I've
hours.
spent writing and or plotting and or world building. And so after you spend that much time doing it and see how beneficial it is to make a plan before you jump into the work, it really is helpful to just go ahead and sit down and do the outline.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pretty much do that every time now. Just kind of get that set out. As far as the themes, like, sometimes that comes first. With Rattan, I wanted to do a story about what happens when your young hero, when this is a bit of a spoiler, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. When your hero, like your Luke Skywalker, is not trained and lifted up by the Yoda, by their master, but when the master betrays the student. And so it did start with that much theme at least, and then the rest, kind of grew it out from there in the outlining phase. But sometimes the themes show up, like, so Heroes Metal, I wanted to have that progressive metal vibe and lots of metaphysical stuff, and kind of channeling Katie called it a brawly representation of Christianity, which I thought was great. I use that whenever I can. I wanted to get that in there. And the themes that started to appear just kind of spun out of it. So, for me, it goes either way.
Cool. Yeah, there's always a little bit of what they call pantsing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
flying by the seat of your pants, but
yeah,
most of the time it starts with some sort of outline, some sort of theme, and then just blossoms from there. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna steal a moment to chill through gushing a little bit for TJ. For those of you that have not read Heroes Metal, I may get the name wrong because it has been a little bit, but the character that's stuck in my head the most is, I believe it was Agrathor, the skeleton, the cursed skeletal mage, lightning flinger. He is a wonderfully dynamic and kind of sardonic character. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed him most of all from the troop in Heroes Metal. He's a little bit,
I like
a little bit cynical but funny mm-hmm. about it. Because he's cursed undead, so he kind of self-deprecates a little bit and has moments of flash anger when he's faced with things that everybody else gets to do that he can't do anymore because he's dead. It's very enjoyable. And with Life City, I'm not a huge fan of, I know I'm going to upset poor Black Knight when I say this, I'm not a huge fan of anthropomorphics, but
oh no,
Life, shame. I love Star Shattered, don't get me wrong, it was really good story to read. Life City, same thing, it was a really good story to read. Everything else that I've read that's been anthropomorphized for the most part, and like I do love what was it 365 infantry is 365 doing. Infantry. But there is that disconnect for me because there is some anthropomorphic stuff, like elements to what he does. But Life City, it was kind of cool to see these anthropomorphized characters going into almost I don't know if it was your intention, but almost like Expendable level, John Woo level, like gun battle stuff with these evil forces. There was something wonderful about it that I really enjoyed when I was reading Life City.
Cool.
So,
I'm
like,
glad to hear that.
just to shill a little bit.
It was really fun to write. I had so much fun with that one. I mean, I have fun with all of them, but that one came out really fast, and it's always fun to write fast.
No.
I think the real question.
Hey, I'm not either.
What,
okay, it was just a furry book.
Okay.
I'm going to steal the meme for a moment. Stop it.
The chat has been going so hard tonight.
I don't even know. I don't even know if I should look.
I don't.
Fine.
To be honest with you,
I
was gonna.
I'm
Usually,
gonna have to go listen
do it
tomorrow
in
while
chat
I'm cooking or
and
something.
take some of their questions, but tonight I'm really not so sure.
Yeah.
It
might be dangerous water for us to do that.
We do have to take the chat's questions, though, and we are in the question territory for the chat.
It's true.
It's about that time.
It is.
Fine, bring it on.
Tis is about that time. However, okay, I want to try something new.
I might need a fourth drink for the chat tonight.
Oh, I'm going to need a lot more than a fourth one.
I was going to say, Daniel's going to tell us what species his first is.
Only if it's a royal decree, my liege.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Sorry, I saw Richard's face and I just could not help.
I was gonna say I'm gonna send you out to the stables if you're not careful here, man. But you probably enjoy it.
No.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, good God. Oh, no.
It's all falling apart on you, man.
You know what? We made it 2 hours in.
Yeah.
This is usually when it falls apart.
Yeah.
Usually we're about a half hour. We're about a half hour late tonight. All right, TJ. Before we go to the chat, I'm going to give you a middle of the show. No, I'm not. No, shut up, Herman. We're not doing that. Anyway, I'm going to give you in the middle of the show. Please tell us where we can find all of your stuff, what you do, how you do, what you want to do.
Cool.
Where can we go?
If you just want to quickly look at books, check out the Amazon author page. If you look for me on Amazon, or if you check, I think you guys have the link there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been
TJ
sharing
Marquis,
all of the links.
Author. Yep. So everything's there, and they updated the bookshelf look, the look of the page. So it's a little bit easier. I don't know. It was kind of small before, and now they're big. So it just looks a little nicer. And then if you want to follow on Substack and get fairly, I wouldn't say infrequent, but not terribly frequent blog posts about various things. Again, it's on the list to be more regular with that. But if you're interested in, my philosophy about writing will come out sometimes. I call them flash reviews, or they're just kind of short form reviews of the indie books that I read. And the last one was Star Shattered. So, I appreciated that brought in, a good bit of traffic. I've taken to also recording them just as audio and slide, or, like audio and images as YouTube videos. So those are on my YouTube channel, which I think you also linked. And very much appreciate anybody who wants to check those out. I'll keep
put it in chat
posting
again
them.
if you want to.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and Richard, you are a mod on the channel, so you can actually drop links.
Yeah,
in the
but
chat.
I have to actually have YouTube open to do that.
Well, no, you don't. You have to pop out chat open. I taught Daniel how to do it. It's fine.
Yeah, he taught me how to do it.
Yeah.
I
will teach you how to pop out chat.
I write books. I don't know how to do anything else.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yes. So those are and my inspirational videos. There's only 2, but I would like to keep that going as a series because I have a little bit extra optimism And so I would like to share that with people whenever I can. If it if it helps people get their own work done, especially our Iron Age and Pulp Rev and Superversive friends, then that's great.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
And I think you got the book links, Substack, YouTube. That's pretty much where all my stuff is.
Sorry. Chat's gonna make me feel bad about harping on poor Richard.
We're gonna have to, work on that, guys. I'm gonna start using. I'm gonna take Herman's suggestion and start using the royal we.
Yeah, he's gonna kick our ass in the after show.
But you knew they were going to get tired of just roasting Royce at some point.
Yeah, it was inevitable. It was
inevitable.
The fire's going to spread.
I wasn't sure who it was going to go to, but the king has arrived.
I think I'm going to be the hardest one to roast, probably because by this point I'm drunk and I don't care.
Oh God!
Well, one day, Daniel.
Okay. Oh man. What the hell happened?
Usually about when I sink into the chair to this level, nothing will faze me anymore.
Oh, it doesn't even faze me anymore.
You remind me too. I was going to get out my giant sword and have it in the background. I don't have a room to be in, but I do have a giant sword. I just forgot to get it.
Oh.
Well, next time.
The theme of the show. Yeah, we do the Iron Age Knights thing, and all of us have a sword in the background. That's interesting. All right. I need to figure out where I was on the super chats. I think we were at the Lord Otter for $2. It says, "Hail Richard from one lord to another." And then I will pull them up. I don't know. Should I pull them up? Should I not pull them up? Yes, I don't know, because some streams I like when they pull them up, and other streams I'm like, oh, it looks really nice when they don't pull them up. And I don't know. I'm still figuring this out.
Well, we have this nice background now, so
yeah, courtesy of Kikomon and Neutron Bore. So thank you to those guys. And speaking of Kikomon,
you got Royce's
patron of many artists.
Glowing green eyes shooting out from between our individual screens there.
It's awesome. I love it. It's so great. I'm getting to it, Kikomon. Kikomon says, how many cops does it take to change a light bulb? 1, to shoot the room for being black. 2, to shoot the bulb for being broke. And 3, to change the bulb. Yeah, we started there tonight.
I saw that one come in pretty early. I was like,
I know. I was like, oh no.
How many drinks had Kikomon had?
Oh no, he and Toxic were going at it. Just like, dude, you had Kikomon and Toxic in the chat at the same time, and then Convoy Bebop showed up, and Convoy Bebop was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you something."
Yeah.
And then Convoy, oh good lord,
that troublemaker.
Love Convoy. Yeah, I've known him for half my life, so. Oh man. And TC Bowl comes in, drops $10 on the bar, and walks out. Thank you so much, TC.
Thank you, sir.
TS Bowl. I appreciate it. This one is not a super chat, but James Craig, a good friend of the channel and a member of the Gilded. I want to drop a question for TJ, if you can schedule it. Well, yes, I can schedule it. It just took me a minute. What is your strategy for dealing with power creep?
That's a good one. It's hard too. I mean, I think it depends on the story, because I've got different worlds set up where they're all at different levels, and I do tend to enjoy the characters being on the more powerful side. So I would say it's sort of accepting the lengths to which you're going to have to go to make it work for that character. So coming to power, he starts out like he's extremely powerful with extreme potential. Like I think of it along the lines of Dragon Ball power scaling, pretty much. So he is or could be at the point where this is the hero John I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He could carve out chunks of mountains. But that's just the nature of the gift he's been given. So the question is not so much in is he going to be able to deal with a particular problem? It's like, how does he deal with the problem morally, or like how does he deal with the fact that when he uses too much power all at once, it puts him out of commission for a while, thereby leaving his friends in danger. And just stuff like, so that's, that's a pretty big weakness. If you can push yourself to stay awake for 11 days and kill a couple of battalions of enemy soldiers, but at the end of that there's still more to do and you're going to be in a coma for like 3 days. So whatever the weakness is there, it helps for there to be a weakness for a super powerful character like that. In Bloodbane, since I intentionally started at a much lower power level, he's just a strong dude because he's a lumberjack. I got to, and because I was using some lit RPG mechanics, I got to kind of tune it. And since I was keeping track with the stats, that actually helped me to stay on a track, so that when I read through the book, when I read through the draft, I was able to look and say, all right, like what needs to be taken down a notch here, and like what needs to be pumped up there, and stuff like that. So I think it depends. It's specific to the characters, and I know that with Coming to Power, for instance, by the third book in that series, the main antagonist is going to have to be at full power, planet destroying level, so that there's enough of a fight to still have. And in other ones, other books, just gotta keep an eye on it, and I guess be willing to cut them back if they're a little too powerful, or be creative enough to find new weaknesses.
Yep. Same thing I had to pull with Paragon and Legacy of Heroes, because super strong and vulnerable guy. You have to figure out how to make the character still be relatable in some way.
If it can be done well, I'm always a fan of, to kind of avoid the power creep, the kind of the existential crisis of the hero.
That's what I leaned into.
Yeah, he kind of has to, he kind of has to rediscover why he was a hero, and just can't use his power to the fullest, or whatever. I like things like that, because it's good, and it's a good thing to refocus and rehumanize the hero, too, as well as kind of avoid, again, that power creep where things just keep growing and getting bigger and bigger. And then obviously, if you just introduce a villain that is just knows where to hit the hero, you can avoid a lot of the power creep, because it could be, mind versus muscle.
Yep.
As was often seen. Yeah, as was often seen with Lex Luthor versus Superman. So
yeah, I did the same thing with LOH.
Holy shit, Mike Miller's old. Sorry. Sorry. He saw the Monkees in concert when he was in middle school.
I love the Monkees.
I also love the Monkees, but I am not old enough to remember them when I was... Anyway.
Yeah, there's a part of... when I was writing the finale for LOH, I was like, how do I make this villain character who is essentially like a disillusioned Batman? So he's not superhuman. He's just really good at what he does. How do I make him capable of combating an invulnerable, super strong teenager and a teenager with a shadow that can kick the crap out of anything? So in designing that, I leaned into the technology aspect with the villain character had implanted bright LEDs into his gloves in order to combat the shadow. How do you fight a shadow? With light. So whenever the shadow was coming at him, he would flash the light to dissipate it and thus neutralize the target. But from the tactical strategy point, he was also using that flash to blind Paragon. Every time Paragon would come at him, he'd hit him with the same flash to blind him and throw him off. And that didn't stop it, but it definitely gave him the opportunity to maximize on what he could do in that battle. And that was my way of getting around that kind of power creep with superheroes, because in fantasy you can come up with all kinds of different ways to make neutralize power creep, and with superheroes it's a lot harder. And that's one of the things
counters is definitely a good way.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
But in the middle of the book, like Royce was talking about, that humanizing moment, and one of the things that I love talking with him about, the Crenshaw Five, which is a group of children that Paragon meets. He meets them after he's run away from a fight, and it wasn't because he didn't think he could win per se. It was because he had a moment of fear when James told him to run. Because if James thought it was an unwinnable battle, he felt he had to ditch. Even though he could have survived and probably mopped the floor with all of them. That instinct as a young man, my friend is yelling at me to run. Something's wrong here. And he didn't use his logic. He reacted on instinct and he bounced. And in the course of conversation with the Crenshaw Five, a bunch of children, he realized, I didn't need to do that. That wasn't a heroic thing to do. I need to go back and save my friends instead of run away like he told me to. And that galvanized the character to really lean into his original moral stance from the get-go, the thing that attracted everyone to him, and righted the course, got him back on track again. So that the existential crisis for flat arc Paragons is really compelling.
It's a good one. And it's been used as it's somewhat of a story trope for many years.
It's really the backbone of Superman. The existential crisis is the backbone of the Superman story.
It is. And nobody and that's why these modern a-holes don't.
Yeah, they don't do it well.
Yeah. I need to pull something up, and I gotta hate that I'm about to pull this up, but I need to
Kikomon.
Good night, Kikomon, and I am actually going to pull up something that Kikomon sent me, and I'm going to pull this thing up, and
the soy must flow, my friend.
There we go. Okay. And I'm gonna have you guys mute because I'm gonna have to change my audio source, and you guys are going to get blasted with your own audio. But give me just a second here, because the only way that I can play this is if I... okay. So the audio is a little bit muffled. I'm going to actually go rip it from Mr. Blacklist Universe stream. But yeah, if you guys will mute for a minute here, I need to adjust my settings in StreamYard, because otherwise you guys are going to get blasted with your own sound. But I have to share this because, for those that don't know, Mike S. Miller did a drawing of Kikomon in Drawn and Quartered. And my chat showed up. And I had to leave the live viewing as we were doing the watch-along party in my voice chat to go help my wife with something that she was doing for work. And I come downstairs, and I'm going downstairs and trying to get back into the chat, and this is what I hear. And please tell me if you guys can hear.
Wilberforce Rooster says Iron Age guy. Fluffy the Spaceman says Iron Age Daddy. That might be like a... I don't know if that's a...
No, that's referring to Royce.
Okay. All right. Brayden Stewart says a drink with crazies. #1 Iron Age YouTuber. Asher Bruner says Iron Age Daddy 2. Let's see, there were some more. Kiko Man says #1 Iron Age YouTube Daddy. All right. Trippy Soul says #1 Iron Age Booty Daddy. I don't.
Wow.
What is an Iron Age Booty Daddy? Is this Wilberforce?
Well played, Chet.
Yeah, that was good. I was listening when that came up.
That was insane.
Actually, that the voice, what is it called? I think it's Middle Earth Storytime is his channel. I found it out by kind of trolling through the chat.
Yeah.
But like, I want to go listen to that because he does readings of Lord of the Rings and like I think other stuff maybe.
I need him to do just a short little, just a short little, just like 5 seconds, just, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 Iron Age Daddy Show. And I want to use that as my intro for Sunday Coffee. Or so
Nice.
I just need him to do just that. And oh my God. And I would almost, so instead of like the applause for Sunday Coffee, I would probably do that. That'd be so freaking great. But yeah, so I use that to do the Kikomon's 2 super chats for a total of $7. And show you Kikomon, #1 Iron Age YouTube daddy.
Good night.
So the originator of the Iron Age YouTube daddy thing was Convoy Bebop, and he said it to completely just on a drunken stream many Saturdays ago, and it stuck, and everybody loved it. And I told him about it today, and he goes, "I didn't realize that my drunken joke was going to continue." I'm like, "Yep, it did." Speaking of Convoy Bebop, talking about stories and music and all that, my favorite band to listen to when I want to hear a story is Sabaton. So Sabaton's got some good stuff. Sabaton's got some really, really good stuff. Herman P. Hunter, The Lore Forge. I hate you so much. What's your take on Legend of Korra? We're not starting this crap. No, that's bait. Don't take it, TJ. Don't take it.
Easy though, because I actually haven't seen it.
Okay, thank God. No, that's a dark history.
I was on this planet a little too early to get into that.
I also was, but never mind. Toxic Crusader for $5. Let's remember for this past MLK Day and ask, why was the CIA missing a few rounds the night MLK was just a oh shit. Gee, Toxic, what the oh my God.
Leave it to Toxic Crusader to shut us down for a second.
I love it. Oh man, Toxic. He don't care, man. He don't care. He's like, yep. He don't care. Oh man, I love it. Oh God, guys, do you have any more questions for TJ and or any more things that you want to make fun of me for, and or things that we can make fun of the king for? Where the hell did the King Richard thing start? I saw it somewhere. It was
somebody yesterday in chat decided to say that. I'm not exactly sure.
Oh, that's
what inspired it.
I don't know either. Oh, I hope it morphs into like Richard the Lion. Oh, it's JVP. That's who it was. He goes me.
JVP.
Oh man. Just Toxic Crusader goes, it's not my channel. Oh
sorry,
no.
Better than the nickname JVP gave me.
Convoy Bebop for $2. Where's the best town to have an ATF bonfire? Convoy, you don't have to send it as a super chat. I will read the punchline. I don't know if I want to know this. I don't know if I want to know this. Toxic Crusaders trying Waco.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh man.
Here we go.
Welcome to my chats.
Yeah.
I love my chat. I don't care. I love my chat. Oh, my chats. I have the best chat ever. And Periapsis Press says next book in Heroes Metal when?
So 2 to go, but hopefully both this year. So I'm working on number 3 right now. I want to roll straight into number 4 because they're actually not that long. They'll probably be between 50, 60, 70,000 words. It's about how long the other ones were. So next one, oh no, I can't say it. There's too many spoilers if I say what it's about. But the first one was, kind of character based. Second one had a lot of action, big set pieces. Third one is going to be very, very character focused again. And then the fourth one, obviously, big finale to wrap it up. So that's what's coming. Should be out before the end of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think I second JVP's Daniel Big P Riley. I mean, if we're going there, I just might as well.
Dude, the chat earlier, I don't know. I don't think Daniel and TJ saw what you and I saw in the chat earlier.
Nope.
Yeah, I
had to ignore it.
I was like, I got to put my phone up here. It's going up. Then,
dude,
stay
that
there
was.
For a while.
Oh my good Lord. Trippy Soul, have a good night, good sir. Be safe out there. I am aware of who it was, Convoy Bebop. I know exactly who started that. It is so hard to I have nothing. I love my chat. They come in. Here's the thing. They come in, they act like that, but then they go and they buy the books, right? And then they go, and some of them are writing the books, right? Mm-hmm. And then some of them have been or will be on the show. So it's like, can you really be mad at them? Can you really? No, you can't be mad at chat. It's hard to be mad at chat.
Chat is so small and adorable.
Oh no. Be careful, TJ. Be careful.
They bite.
Oh. Swift sword rush. It's so hard. Better finish that sentence, Royce.
It's probably what you think it's about.
It's been clicked already. The damage is done.
The damage is done. That's right. Dude, the clips, I am surprised I don't get more clips of me either saying dumb stuff or like that clip that was sent to me the other night of the Iron Age. That was just ridiculous. No. Wait.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, TJ, pet us and call us a good boy. Oh, God.
We're really leaning into a new side of the Iron Age tonight, I guess.
Yeah, this is.
I didn't realize.
This is what I love to call Convoy's bullshit. I have known it for many years, and it never stops blindsiding you. It always comes from a different direction. Oh God.
Yes.
Oh man, gentlemen, it has been just an absolutely fantastic conversation this evening. And TJ, you've got many works right now behind you and many works in front of you. And I hope that you just keep pushing forward and keep and keep selling your books and keep growing and learning and networking. And then not only that, but trying to figure out all of the different technologies that you are, working with, just to, I want to see where this goes. And with that being said, sir, give us your final thoughts for the evening.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been good and fun, funny. I'm gonna have to go listen and
the live chat
or watch and watch all that. Yeah.
Watch that you can have an off camera reaction to the...
Yeah. Hey honey, look at this.
No,
right.
No, that's, I mean, I don't know her sense of humor, maybe, but like also
like
no.
No, you're right. Not like that at all. Yeah. Oh, and that reminds me, like way at the beginning, you said how many kids? I got 4. So there you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I also have 4. Good
babies
man.
Are twin girls, 2 baby girls.
Oh,
nice.
Wonderful, dude.
Crazy.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
Man.
So Yep. But yeah, so if you would like to help support my many children, you can buy my books. So if
You
you like
will enjoy them.
superheroes, I got Rajak, Hero Planet, not necessarily chronological series, but there will be more at some point on that magical hero planet. So again, it's sci-fi fantasy, but with the superhero focus. And then if you like the metal vibe, obviously Heroes Metal is for you. 2 books out. You can grab them separately, or you can grab the Demibus edition, which has a very metal piece of artwork that I got. And then if you are looking for something Christian but kind of off the wall, that's Life City. It's short. It's a novella, so it's a quick action-packed read. And if you're a furry, you might enjoy it. I shouldn't encourage this. And then
I love
if you're
how
into,
he's gonna bounce after this, and I have to deal with the ramifications of it.
if you like epic fantasy, then that's Coming to Power. That'll be a trilogy when it's done. That's a little bit longer, so a bit more of what you expect from the epic fantasy genre, with a thicker spine. High power level, lots of magic, ancient ruins, lost technology, all that kind of stuff in there. What else is there? Rattan is I call it YA style. It's not necessarily a YA book, but it is a teenage girl having to deal with the dystopia that she lives in, which doesn't look like a dystopia at first. And because of my spoiler earlier, maybe you can figure out what's wrong with it. But if you like AI and if you like robot, then you might also enjoy that one, because her companion is really, really important to the story. I'll just say that. Is that all of them? And then Bloodbane.
Man, you got so many already.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a bit of a, I don't want to say it's a mistake, but I started 3 series in parallel, and so now I have to catch up and finish them, which is fun, but that. It's like it makes
hold
a little bit longer.
Hold on.
3 series.
You have to catch up with your own stuff. How the hell am I supposed to do it?
It takes a lot longer to write it than read it.
You're wrong. I promise you, you're wrong. You've not met me. You have not met me.
Unless you're Royce.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad. I need
fair.
I need.
But yeah, they're all going to be done.
Yeah, I had the same reaction when he told me that he was running 3 series at once. I was like, "You're insane."
Yeah, I'm blame 2020. The lockdown hit, and I was like, I'm going to start putting these out, and I'm going to see what gets the most interest. And I'll finish that one first. And overall, that's been Heroes Metal. So it actually doesn't have the most reviews. So if you review it, then I would very much, or if you buy it and read it, I'd very much appreciate a review, both on book 1 and book 2, or the Demibus if you buy it. But yeah, so that's why that one will be done first.
Fantastic.
We did
That's it. Oh, I did want to take a second actually and show my service. So if you're a creative or a producer, and you want help with ideas, organization, managing the projects, you can take a look on my Substack on my credits and consultations page. It shows everything I've worked on. Not everything. It shows the most prominent things that I've worked on. So I've done games in Web3, audio series, and then everybody's novels and other indie games that aren't out yet. Stuff I can talk about, stuff I can't talk about. But I like to help people figure out, what they want to do, and build things that, they just can't quite figure out how to build themselves. So that's
he is a great creative coordinator.
Thank you. And I see Brian had a question. He said, when a children's book? Obviously, I would love to do a children's book as well. They're short, so, maybe I'll just pop it off between other novels. But I don't know. I don't have a concrete answer for that.
The way to build culture is to get the kids.
We got it. Yeah.
You got to get the kids. I mean, to go back to a comment earlier, the public school system, they're getting the kids.
Which, incidentally, yeah, everything is appropriate for teenagers at least, if not down to maybe 10.
I am comfortable with my kids, my 2 older ones anyway, because I'm comfortable with about PG-13 for them. PG-13, I'm good with. And I guess that's when I say, kid-friendly. I mean, like PG-13. Now, my youngest daughter is in love with George Alexopoulos' Gooseberry Pie. Oh, she just fell in love with that book. So that is a fantastic. I have to figure out how to get George over here. I will figure that out one of these days. But yes,
yeah.
But no, get the kids, man. If you got PG-13 stuff, I'll buy. I need to buy it. It's in the wish list. I have a stack of books over here that I'm staring at that I need to read.
I try to aim for, I guess you would call it 6th grade, like the 11, 12 age range and up, as best as possible. There are some things in the upcoming LOH stuff that may push that boundary a little bit. Just a little bit, but it's relevant and unfortunately necessary, so I had to go with it.
No, not George the Giant Slayer. George Alexopoulos. No, Raven Nevermore. Anyway.
D Prime.
Katie has an interview with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she does. Yes. And all right. Now, for the shill master himself, Mr. Daniel P. Riley.
Don't ask.
What are you? Stop it! Stop
Fourth
it!
Drink, man.
Stop it!
So you've had enough drinks to start rambling now.
He had like half a bottle last week, and I got him to do it. I need him to. You, sir, are disappointing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would please go check out whimsyland.org. Down in the chat below, whimsyland.org is where you can find the services of the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Daniel P. Riley, where he offers his editing, his coaching, and his fantastic mind to those out there who are trying to create. In addition to that, you can find the Tales of Halcyon, a 3-book series that he worked on with fantastic artwork done by his daughter. He also has many other projects coming up. So, ladies and gentlemen, never forget Mr. Daniel P. Riley at whimsyland.org.
Hey, you're good at that.
Yeah. Thanks, me.
There you go.
No,
yeah, and Daniel's a good coach.
I did it again.
Yeah, you can see that if you hop in the Discord server.
What's coming?
Laureate, yes. We one of the things that I didn't get to mention, actually, that I would like to mention. So, first impressions, we have a thing called Blurbs Day. It happens on Thursday, where we work on the book synopsis, the little marketing ads, try to come up with the best catch phrases and short paragraphs that define everyone's books. And when TJ put his Bloodbane up on Blurbs Day, the first thing I thought, even though it was just a rough draft of his synopsis, was, it's a horrible night for Curse. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly what I was going for. I'm like, yes! Because I love Castlevania. But yeah, Laureate
It's been
Discord.
fun to get back there.
Yeah, the Laureate Discord group, links in my Twitter, possibly in the chat. I don't know, because I'm not great with technology other than writing books. I would probably stop breathing if people didn't tell me to.
His whimsyland.org is down there, and you guys can find him over on Twitter at Mr. Daniel P. Riley.
And tomorrow, Comedy's Tragedy. What happens to the villain character Comedy from Legacy of Heroes 1 going forward? It's kind of a twist and setting up for a much darker villain in later books. That's all I'm going to tease as far as that's concerned. And it gets a little fantastical just for fun, because
Cool.
I like that sort of thing. And of course, G Sedai, probably my most popular of books, the Neo Tokyo Samurai short epic. Working on book 2, it's turning out a lot better than book 1, with more character development and the same amount of gruesome sword fighting action. So that's the best I can do on 4 drinks, gentlemen. I apologize.
That was
We need
great.
7 next week. I need you so hammered. It's all it is a shill. Every word out of your mouth is a shill.
You might as well just set me up for my own interview and just let me get drunk for a night.
Yeah, we should do that sometime, Daniel. That's a fantastic idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, we may have our first Iron Age Nights of February. What are you thinking, Richard?
Yeah, I mean, that works for me. I'd love to grill him, but the only thing I would say is that I'd like to read a little bit more of his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So give me another. Oh, man, good Lord. Give me a little
yeah, Brian. Yeah,
2 months.
Don't say it.
If we go by Royce's calendar, we'll be doing this in 2024.
That's generous, but no, I'll try and crank through them, and we'll talk.
Oh yeah, totally forgot. Tales of Halcyon is getting a reprint. I'm calling it Tales of Halcyon Reforged. Artwork by Ian from Twitter, his Twitter handle at The Great Scott. He has been drawing some amazing pieces for me to add to the story, and I'm going to redo it in one book, all 3 in one compendium, and a hardback for epicness. The new cover artwork in the midst of the story, like the old epic fantasy books. I'm going for that aesthetic with this Reforge.
And I have to say this, Brian McCoppin says, I was like, oh, it's my Latin is definitely rusty, but in vino veritas.
Truth, brother.
There is truth. In wine there is truth.
Oh man, this is my night for drinking. I don't drink at all except for on this show.
Oh, I love that I can be a bad influence on the world. It's fantastic. And the first Iron Age night that I was a bad influence on, Mr. Richard.
King Richard.
Sorry. I apologize. Your lordship, Mr. King Richard.
I'll let it slide this time.
Would you kindly bestow upon us where we may be able to find you among the interwebs?
Thanks for that lead up there, Royce. It's great.
My improv is getting better. I'm proud of me tonight.
Yeah.
Well played, sir. Well played.
That's the word I would use for it, but it's getting more something all right.
Sorry.
IronAge.media.
Yes.
And right now we have the prompt voting going on from December.
Vote.
If you have not gone and checked out a couple stories, I really encourage you to. And vote. It determines who gets featured next month. And, there's a lot of great authors who are putting in hard work and putting themselves out there. And I just ask that everybody, pitch in as a fan and give them a read. Also, I'm going to be, I'm going to officially be putting it out on Monday, but I am looking for articles for February. So if you have something coming out that you want to talk about, or if you have something that you want to write about that you're a big fan of, I encourage you to send me an email at contact@ironage.media. So
awesome. And
thank you,
and
Chad.
is that email on ironage.media? I saw.
I watched all 3 of you look at the chat.
I saw it.
I think you should have to
His
pay you for that one.
Highness Dick Richards, the Iron Hardened Iron Knight, the 69th.
That's certainly something there.
Welcome to my chat. Welcome.
Yeah, this is actually, Herman, you're right. We need articles, so send them in, peasants. Let's go. Chop, chop.
Peasants. You have to do.
I'll try to work on one for Comedy Strategy.
I think you asked me to write something for you a while back, and that was like 3 months ago.
No, I asked you. Well, yeah, I did. I'm just gonna write it for you whenever I get around to doing that portion of the site. And
I don't remember what it is, and I've asked you to resend it to me, and it never.
I did, but you didn't do it then, so I'm just gonna take care of it. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. Then you two start clucking like a bunch of freaking hens in the chat, and I'm just like, where does that thing go? No, I'm just messing with you guys. You guys talk a lot in the chat. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
We do.
it is yeah. I have the peoples that like to make fun of me in the chats. Some would call them friends. I am not so sure.
Well,
Peasants
my
is what
liege
they
and
are.
I have great conversations in our own direct message, but we just roast you when we're together.
I am aware. Oh, I'm left out. Yay. I feel so loved. I feel so loved. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here for Iron Age Nights. As always, you can find me right here on this channel or on my ADWC gaming channel tomorrow night at 7 p.m. We will be kicking off the Star Shatter Tabletop game. We have some fantastic players, members of the channel, and the Gilded. That is the other thing. If you guys would like to support this channel in other places, you can always go to adrinkwithcrazy.locals.com, which is probably one of the best ways to circumvent Mama Susan, to get around the Mama Susan when you would like to sneak a little bit of coin my way. Sometimes people like to sneak the coin my way. It's kind of like a drug deal, but, you know, away from the eyes of Google and without the drugs. So less fun, but you get the idea. Then also, if you would love to become a part of the fantastic community that is building around the Iron Age story writers, and basically the chat, go over to My Gilded. My Gilded, hey, surprise, surprise, it's actually not about me. It's actually about the people who are over there having the conversations, writing their stories, and trying to build culture, have a little bit of fun along the way, and make sure that tomorrow's a better day. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking out Iron Age Nights, and we will see you all next time.
Peace.
Oh my God, I think I did okay there.
Yeah, you
Yes,
did all
not
right
bad.
this time.
I said okay. I said okay.
High praise from the king.
Yes,
High praise.
exactly. You've staged your execution another day.
I did. Oh, thank you, God.
What's the job of the jester?
Right. Well, you know, it's one of the things is I've always felt that the jester's really the only man who is allowed to be honest with the king.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's
you
the
think about
idea.
Yes.
Oh, it's fun. I love it. Oh,
I
my
make
good
a
Lord.
poor drunken vizier. Yikes.
Good.
You know, I got drunk enough one day and realized I was good at it. Might as well go for it.
You've had years of practice now.
Right, yeah. Oh, and by the way, over on the locals side for 420 Frequency Studios says, hit the like button. Now, that would be wonderful if you guys would hit the like button on your way out.
Like,
And thank you so
subscribe,
much.
join Gilded.
Yeah, join the Gilded. Yeah, that community is fantastic over there.
Come hang out with us.
Yes. Oh, yeah, no, it's great. It's great. If you guys want more of my chat and more of the fantastic authors, check out My Gilded. Seriously, I can't shill that one enough. The Gilded has become something beyond what I ever thought it could be. Oh, good Lord. That was a terrible copy pasta. That was bad. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into Iron Age Nights. We will see you all next time. Cheers, everybody.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.